section is ready to go. It's game number 2 in the Bryan Harsin era. Game number 1 was a highly successful event. Today, a little local favor as Alabama State comes a calling to the loveliest village on the plains. It's all coming your way in a matter of moments. SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. And it's going to be a great day here in Auburn as Alabama State, the Hornets, make their second trip to Jordan-Hare Stadium as the Auburn Tigers, ranked number 25 in the country, looking to go 2-0. Well, we are very lucky to have one of the best to ever play in the Southeastern Conference. You might know him by the name of Deuce McAllister. Played at Ole Miss back in the late 90s, early 2000. Rushed for over 3,000 yards. 3 straight years of 1,000 yards on the ground. Was a first-round pick by the New Orleans Saints. 2-time Pro Bowler and was just a beast. And we hope he is a beast in the booth as well as he joins us here on the SEC Network throughout the season. I'm Dave Neal, and this is number 22, Deuce McAllister. Andrea Carter will join us down the sidelines in a moment. But Deuce, man, welcome aboard. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. You know, you talk about the SEC, the best conference in the land, and so I'm excited to be able to obviously broadcast and be able to bring the game to the fans.
All right, let's talk about this game because Auburn, obviously, Bryan Harsin, first game last week. A lot of people looking to see what it would look like. Well, it looked great. They win by 50. Penn State's on the horizon. How important is this game in terms of moving forward?
Well, they have to focus on the task at hand, and I think when you talk about that, that's making sure that they're clean as far as offense, defense, and special teams. And there are going to be some mistakes, but you have to limit them as best as possible. You know, I'm interested to see if Bo Nix can follow up on the game that he had last week and continue to build as they go on their first road trip next week.
Obviously, consistency has been the real ticket with Bo. How consistent can he be? Well, if week 1's any indication, Auburn fans are in for a pleasurable season.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, when you talk about having the ability to be able to do some of the things that he's been able to do and just really in a new offense. And so, you know, you talk about from a head coach standpoint, from an offensive coordinator, getting him comfortable, making sure that he understands what they want to do from a system standpoint, as well as just getting the ball to the playmakers. And I think that he obviously did an outstanding job last week in doing so. It'll be the same thing, hopefully, today for him as well.
And he'll lean on that running game today as well. Tank Bixby. And Jarquez Hunter, the freshman, was fantastic as well. There is Bryan Harsin. First year at Auburn, 9th year as a head coach. Had some great success at Boise before coming here. The former collegiate quarterback likes what he has seen from his club to this point. But every week is a new week. And, of course, running the show for Alabama State, Donald Hill-Ely has been around for a while. Likes this team, but obviously this is a big, big test for his group. He knows it. But his club excited all week. Could see it in practice that this is a challenge that they're willing and able to accept. So Auburn won the toss. They defer. Alabama State will get the football first, and we are just about set to go. Actually, an impressive crowd. Student section is filled to the brim today. Way to go, Tiger students. That one will go into the end zone. So Ryan Nettles, the redshirt freshman quarterback out of Evergreen, Alabama, had a really good opening week as Alabama State had to go to overtime to take down Miles 14-13, but Nettles was 20 of 30, 197 yards, also ran it 9 times, and obviously he's going to be a big factor in what they try to do offensively today.
He'll definitely be a big factor, and I think the thing that you like about him the most is his smart. He understands and knows exactly where he wants to go with the football. They run a little RPO offense, so it'll be key for him to make sure that he's reading that defensive end or that defensive tackle, depending on what they're running.
Auburn's defense was stellar last week. Guys were a little upset they didn't post a shutout. This linebacking core, obviously the heart and soul of this defense, but pressure right away on Nettles as he throws, and that one a little bit over the head of Hickson, but he was open. Pressure came from Colby Wood. Defensively, the run game was non-existent for Akron. They allowed just -3 yards on the ground, the fewest since 2001 against the Florida Gators. 11 tackles for loss. He had 7 sacks. Could have been more. You talked to Derek Mason, the defensive coordinator. Little low snap. They're going to stop that play, though. Flag down.
I think that looked like it may have been in the neutral zone. That football was short. Marcus Harris may have touched that center before. it was time to go. So it may be a 5-yard penalty on Auburn.
Our referee today, Steve Marlowe in the white hat.
Offside, defense, number 50, contact in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, second down. Police reset, 14-54.
And you see that nose tackle, he's just early, and it looked like he, you want to anticipate that snap count by that quarterback, and we know it's loud, and so a lot of times it's based off of movement, and he's just early there. And so first play, you have an open receiver going through zone, and then the next play, an offsides by Auburn.
So second down and 5. Inside handoff goes to Merritt. He'll take it out over the 30 to the 33-yard line. Give him, 33-yard line as Jacoby McClain leading the way. Boy, you start talking about Zoby McClain. Here's a guy that will be around the football all day today as long as he is between the lines.
He wants to hit. He wants to hit every play. He wants to come downhill. He's an old school football player.
So third down and 2. Trying to set up a little screen, but that was blown up by the Tigers. There was nowhere to go. Papo put the pressure on the quarterback in a hurry, and Nettles didn't have much to do with it.
And that's Merritt. He's got to do a better job of navigating that trash in there, whether that's that defensive lineman or linebacker. They're setting up a screen. There was pressure coming away, so Nettles did the right thing. He's going to, be able to lose some ground, and try to find his running back, and he just couldn't do it.
I had a shot on first down for a big gain, and just a little bit overthrown to Jeremiah Hickson, and now they're forced to punt. Aubrey Grace back to kick it away. It is a line drive that will hit and bounce as Demetrius Robertson watches it go out of bounds near the 20-yard line. Well, down on the sidelines today once again is Andrea Carter. Let's check in with her. Andrea, what's going on?
Thanks, Dave. Well, when I talked to Coach Harsin yesterday, he said an obstacle for the team would be the 11 a.m. start time. Deuce, a lot of the game day prep work, that helps you get your mind right for the game. They did a lot of that yesterday. Coach Harsin said it does not matter. He needs his guys ready to play and ready to put good things on tape. We've already seen one penalty. He wants clean football from his team today.
That definitely messes with you when you have an early start, and one of the things that you want to be in is a routine, and so that routine has to get pushed up, just like Andrea was talking about, and so a lot of things they had to do yesterday, and so you may see a couple of mistakes early on, but that's not something that you want to kind of continuously do.
So Bo Nix will run this offense, hands it off, Tank Bigsby. He'll pick up 11 on a first down carry. Keenan Isaac from the secondary will bring him down. But Tank is, well, he was a tank in game number 1.
Nice job, nice patience here by Tank Bigsley, and just being able to find that zone there at a soft spot in that defense. And the refs, they get together to talk about something quickly. I know Alabama State was substitution.
Illegal substitution defense. 12 players on the field. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
The flag was off the field there, Dave, but they were running guys. They wanted to change defenses, and they were still running guys off the field as Auburn was snapping the football.
Coach Ely saying, you got to let us sub. If they're going to sub, we got to sub. 4-man rush on first down. That one is incomplete. A big collision around the 38-yard line, trying to hit Shedrick Jackson. But Bo Nix last week, 20 of 22. Completed his first 11 passes against Akron. 275 yards, no interceptions with those 3 touchdowns. It was about as good as you could do as a quarterback. And now the question is, as you hit on it, can we sustain, maybe not that level, but something near it throughout the season? That one almost picked off a little bit late. Again, trying to hit Jackson. Jacquez Payton comes up, makes the play defensively. And now it'll be 3rd and 10.
Nice job by Peyton being able to jump this route here. You would prefer for Jackson to be able to come back to the football here as far as the receiver is concerned, but he sits. And the defensive back drives on that football and almost comes up with the interception.
Peyton, the redshirt junior. Bring an extra man. Auburn picks it up over the middle. Robertson with the reception. He's into Hornet territory around the 43-yard line. Keenan Isaac drags him down, but a gain of 27 on a 3rd and 10.
Nice job of Robertson. Nice job of Bo Nix. You have a pocket. He's able to step up into that pocket, and it's just clean throw and catch, and nice conversion on 3rd down.
Yeah, good pickup as Alabama State brought an extra pass rusher. Now the handoff to Bixby. He's got some room off the left side, but a good open field tackle on the back end by Keenan Isaac.
An Alabama State player looks like he's hurt.
Andrew Ogletree, the redshirt sophomore out of Columbus Carver High School, Columbus, Georgia.
One of the players that Coach Pearson talked about that he really liked as far as being one of those leaders, and he's holding that left knee, flexing it out. Looked like he got cut as Auburn kind of got to the edge there.
We'll step aside as they attend to Mr. Ogletree. Back to Auburn right after this.
Dustin Poirier, one of the better lights.
Let's take a look at the keys to victory brought to you by Barbecue Guys. And Deuce, break this down for us.
Well, for Alabama State, you want to win, try to win each quarter. You know, you can't look at the overall game as far as what that score is. Can you win each quarter? I think that's the best thing for them. You talk about the highlight performance from Ezra Gray. We hadn't seen him get involved a lot early on, but that's one thing that they will do. Auburn, they have to focus on that task at hand. You can't look ahead to next week. And Nix, can he continue to take that next step as far as being that quarterback that they know that he can be?
We'll keep an eye on those throughout the afternoon. Here is Nix, looks left, now coming right, going up top. Trying to hit Jackson near the goal line, and a flag will come in. They're going to say pass interference against Jaquez Payton. It looked like a whole lot of hand checking. Yeah,
that's hand fighting there.
Pass interference. Defense number 4. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
And early on, this looks like really good coverage. He's pulling him the whole way. That's Peyton pulling him the whole way, and both guys really, as they run down the field, holding on to each other. And Peyton makes the play, but the referee saw him pulling the whole way, and 15-yarder.
That'll make it 1st down and 10. Ball sits at the 25-yard line. Bo Nix under center, traditional I formation. And off right side, Bixby makes a man miss, makes another one miss. He's to the 10. A flag will come in, though. That one may be coming back. We'll see. They'll spot it at around the 2.5.
It's going to be holding on Auburn, and it was right there on the edge. Good block by the tight end, Samuel.
Holding, offense number 16. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
That's Malcolm Johnson out on the edge. That won't make that man very happy. Let's go down to Andrea.
Yeah, guys, just a quick update on Andrew Ogletree. You saw him go down on the field earlier. He was in the tent pointing to his left ankle and shin area, and he did walk with assistance into the tunnel. No update on his status just yet.
All right, thanks, Dre. Here's Bixby off the left side. Big collision right around the 20-yard line. Keenan Isaac, boy, Peyton and Isaac out on the edge in the back end for this Hornet defense. They have been involved, it seems like, every play.
Well, when you got physical defensive backs, that definitely helps you, particularly when you talk about trying to tackle a guy like Tank Bigsby. And we've seen some one-on-one situations there where they're not afraid to come up. They've been able to come up on the edges and make some tackles. I mean, you're still talking about him picking up 4 or 5 yards, but if your corners are going to be physical, you'll definitely take it as far as from a defensive standpoint.
It'll be 2nd down at about 4.5 for the Tigers. Again, line up in that I with Nix under center. Bigsby string handoff off the right side. Needs to get it to the 15, and he's going to be a little bit shy. It'll be 3rd down and short. Brandon Gaddy coming up to make the play for the Hornets.
A little penetration inside as far as the Hornets are concerned. Looks like, one of the things that Coach Harsin talked about was blocking the right guy. Looked like they let a guy go up the middle, and so, it's always a good thing when you can turn around and depend on, lean on a guy like Tank Bigsby just to be able to hand it off to him, and now you get a little short yarded situation. We'll see if they try to get out on the edge or they try to run the ball up the middle again.
Nick's under center again on 3rd down and short. They'll hand it off to Bigsby, and he didn't get there. Alabama State will come up with the stop on 3rd down. Let's see what Auburn wants to do.
Auburn's going to kick a field goal.
And Auburn's going to bring out the field goal unit as a nice play by Rudy Jean-Louis.
Just penetration up the middle, and not only did the defensive line win, the linebackers were able to get penetration as well, and so Tank Bigsby never really had a chance to get any momentum going forward.
So here's Anders Carlson. This will be from 34 yards. The kick is on the way. It is good, and for Carlson, he has now hit 55 field goals in his career. He has been a workhorse for the Auburn Tigers, and they lead it by 3.
Well, SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate.
Impressed with the student section effort on this early game. They are packed in, enjoying some football, and they are waiting for halftime. Alabama State able to bring their band along. In this COVID era, not a lot of traveling by the visiting team's bands, but the Auburn band has given up a little bit of their time at halftime so that we can be entertained by one of the best collegiate marching bands in the land. The Honeybees will be out there too now.
The Honeybees, Alabama State will put on a show.
They were here back in 2018, and people still talking about that performance. Carlson will kick it away. That one will bounce out of the end zone. Hey, coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central, our Week 2 football lineup continues on with #1 ranked Alabama hosting Mercer. Number 20 Ole Miss will host Austin Peay. Missouri squares off against Kentucky, and LSU looks to bounce back against McNeese State. Every game also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. One app and one tap. Nick Saban getting after his boys a little bit this week. Didn't want them reading all the clippings after week 1.
Coach Saban said he hadn't done anything yet. I need to see it. I need to see some more.
Second possession of the game for the Hornets. They'll hand it off right side. Merritt hits and bounces back. A big collision. Jimmy Jenkins, he might have run into his own offensive lineman.
Yeah, that was Marcus Harris that got a lot of penetration, and I think, he was the reason that you talk about the running back not being able to stay on track. Merritt just didn't really have anywhere to go because of the penetration.
Merritt had that 1-yard touchdown run in overtime last week for the win against Miles. Nettles, a little slip screen on the far side. Not much happening there. Auburn read that one well, so a gain of about a yard. Jacoby McClain there to make the tackles. Jacoby with 7 stops last week.
Jacoby does a nice job of just being able to run down the line. He fights off of the block, and he's able just to be able to make that tackle in open field. Derek Mason from that last series being able to get a 3 and out. You were in really a 3rd and short situation. Now really 3rd and long. They haven't come after him a lot as far as Nettle is concerned. We'll see if they turn up the pressure a little bit this 3rd down.
McClain led the country with 113 tackles last year, average over 10 per game. Nettles will throw, and that pass is caught. That'll be good enough for an Alabama State first down out over the 35-yard line. It goes to Wallace Corker. Roger McCreary there in coverage.
Nice throw by Nettles, and he takes a big shot here. It looks like, I think that was Hall that was able to get a shot on him, but nice job of sitting in the pocket and being able to just deliver this football. Looks like a stop route, almost a jump ball situation to his receiver. Wallace Corker comes up with the football for their first down of the game as well.
8.5 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Auburn leads it by field goal. Inside handoff goes to Merritt. Merritt just 185 pounds going up against that front four of the Auburn Tigers, where they got guys closing in. I mean, Tony Ferris 330, Pegues 308.
That's a split zone look right there by Alabama State, that they're just trying to find a soft spot in that defense, and it's not very soft. There's not a lot of running room for Merritt in there inside. Little split zone look. We'll see if Nettles keeps it at some point.
Fair, the transfer from UAB, anchoring the middle of that defensive line. Auburn bringing an extra pass rusher. Nettles gets that out of there just in time. Pass is caught by Jeremiah Hickson.
Jeremiah Hickson does a nice job of being able to just sit down in his zone. Nettles finds him, and now you talk about an opportunity to be able to run third and short. He just goes to the sticks. You know, I know if you're Alabama State, you want him probably to pick up that first down automatically, so it's not third and short. But nice job by Nettles just finding his receiver, finding that weak spot in the defense and picking it up.
Miles Crawley comes in, the freshman quarterback out of Tucker, Georgia. Trying to run a little quarterback keeper off the right side on third and short. Miles is 6'4", 225. But Owen Papo met him in the hole, and they lose a yard or two on that one.
Quarterback power. And they try to see if Auburn is in man-to-man. They send the motion, kind of the jet motion, but nobody really goes in that. So that tells you it's zone. And there's just too much penetration. Auburn defensive line, they do a nice job of just getting so much penetration. Quarterback power, you don't stand a chance. And so that's a nice job by Owen Papo being able to just blow that play up as far as quarterback power is concerned.
So the Hornets will punt it away. Aubrey Grace will kick it back to Demetrius Robertson. That one is blocked. It's a loose football around the 25-yard line. So special teams getting it done for the Tigers, and they'll have excellent field position.
A lot of penetration there. Nice job of Auburn just being able to take advantage of some of that blocking as far as the punt is concerned. There are two guys there that probably got their hands on that punt. And I don't know if it was necessarily a rush, but that punter has to be quicker as well. But just a nice job of Auburn. And Coach Brian Harsin talked about it, you know, being able to make a play on special teams, whether that was in the return game or, you know, being able to do something like that, come up with a block punt.
Wesley Steiner, Barton Lester, the two guys that converge on Grace, setting up this offense with an extremely short field.
Yeah, if I'm Auburn, I look at maybe taking a shot, maybe some type of double move to maybe get this crowd roaring.
Jarquez Hunter checks in at running back. They will play fake it to Hunter. Going toward the end zone. That one is just flat out dropped by Newton, and he was going to walk it into the end zone. Instead, he'll have to jog it back to the huddle.
Hard play action, Bo Nix to Jarquez Hunter. You've got really like a scissors route or an over route, and it was there. Kylan Newton had a shot at this ball. He just didn't look it in. It looks like he almost is looking at the end zone before he looks it in. But, I mean, he is going to score. He is going to score, and that's the shot play Mike Bobo comes out with after the sudden change as far as the defense giving you, or at least the special teams giving you a short field.
They will hand it off to Hunter, and he is met there and will be stopped for a short gain. Boy, did he bust onto the scene. The true freshman out of Philadelphia, Mississippi. Went to Neshoba Central. Had a great game, 110 yards on 9 carries last week. Welcome to the Plains, young man.
And coaches and staff, Cadillac Williams and those guys, Coach Harsin, Mike Bobo, having a lot of confidence in him. You talk about being able to get in the game early, still in the first quarter for a freshman, and not a redshirt freshman, just a true freshman. That speaks volumes for you.
Hank Bigsby back on the field. By the way, Sean Shivers, our other running back, we were told right before kickoff today, not available. It's a medical issue, and that is all the information we were given. Here's Bo Nix, flat down in the backfield. Bo will run it out of bounds inside the 15, but that is right in the area of holding, and you can anticipate this one coming back.
Yeah, that's going to be holding on the offensive line there, and there was a twist stunt by Alabama State, and the defensive end lost containment.
Holding, 52 offense, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Bo Nix does the right thing by taking off and running because no one was outside that had containment, and they were running a twist, a stunt, a game up front as far as the defensive line, and Auburn just gets caught there. That would have picked up the 1st down, too, on that 3rd down play to get caught there with the holding call.
Saw Mike Bobo there with the hat and the glasses on, calling the plays. There he is. He's been doing this for a long time. It's been a year at South Carolina after he was let go at Colorado State as their head coach. Here's Bigsby, huge hole. Tank, he's down to the 10. He'll have the 1st down and a little extra. It'll be 1st and goal for the Tigers. 24 yards.
Got an offensive lineman that's banged up. He's going to jog off the field, number 71. Not often can you just turn around and hand the football off, almost like you're conceding this play, this 3rd and long, and they pull the guard as well as the tight end, and they're able to pick up the 1st down. You got an Alabama State player that goes down late as well, so you've got 2 players that are banged up. Number 71, I know for the Auburn, I think he was the guy that pulled on that play.
Council down for Auburn. Donald Hill, Ely out to check on his man, and while everybody gets attended to, we'll step aside. $3-0 Auburn over Alabama State, but the Tigers are knocking on the door. Tank Bigsby, you knew it was only a matter of time, chasing 1,000 yards. And he goes over the 1,000-yard mark with this carry in his career.
Just nice run, nice patience. You know, it's a wide open lane. They do a nice job up front being able to kick out, and then you've got that tight end leading. So Tank just follows those guys and picks up the 1st down.
Now he turns it over to the freshman Hunter. Kobe Hudson in motion. They'll go to him on the far side, and he is tripped up on the outside. Heck of a play by Jeffrey Scott.
Jeffrey Scott does an outstanding job of making this open field tackle. He's got him in man-to-man, and so they show you that kind of orbit motion where he acts like he's going one way, stops right there at the quarterback and tailback. He turns back around. It's almost a swing pass. It's just a play in space, and he's able to make that play.
Bigsby back in the game. He'll stand to the left of Bo Nix on a 2nd down and goal. Three receivers out to the near side. And somebody was supposed to go in motion, it appears, and some confusion offensively.
Yeah, it was tight end.
30-second timeout.
He wanted the tight end to come back in motion, and you hear the Alabama State defensive coaches hollering unbalanced. It's an unbalanced line, and so one of the things that you don't want to do is lose gap integrity and slide down too far, just because they are in that unbalanced look. And so the coaching staff and Coach Harsin, they ended up calling a timeout there. But you can see tight end, he shifts over, and then Bo Nix is calling him to be able to move back again. But they're confused a little bit, and so one of the things he would have been, once he got on the line of scrimmage, you had the 3 receivers outside as well on the line of scrimmage, and that's why they were hollering, that unbalanced look. And Bo didn't want him on the line of scrimmage; he wanted him off the ball, and so Coach Harsin, he just calls a timeout to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
A couple of injuries a moment ago. Brandon Council, the offensive lineman, the guard for Auburn, had to be helped off. He is not back on the field. Joshua Long was the injured Alabama State player, but he seems to be raring to go. There's a 5-receiver empty look here on 2nd and goal just inside the 10. They'll hit Shedrick Jackson with it. He's down to the 3-yard line, so 3rd and goal from there.
Slip screen outside. Slip screen to Jackson outside, and do a pretty good job. It looked like Alabama State, they were bringing pressure from the opposite side, so a nice play call, just not able to get it in the end zone as far as scoring. This is the look that they had to call a timeout on right here.
Bo Nix, 3 of 6, 33 yards. Nix trying to keep it, trying to use some of that speed, and he is just shy, wrapped up there by Jake Howard as he reaches for the pylon. It couldn't get there, and now it's 4th and goal from the 1.
And they're sending in a heavy package, and so they run a little split zone action with the quarterback keeping it. So whether that's quarterback bash or whatever, Bo Nix tries to get to that edge. He reaches the football right there at the goal line. He can't get it over. So already this is, if you're Alabama State, you got to be fired up. We talked about them winning the quarter. I mean, being in this situation, 3-0, 4th and 1, early in the ball game. This has to be confidence-wise. This has to be outstanding for them.
Out of the I formation, 3 tight ends with a fullback.
Play clock.
And the play clock, yeah, good catch, Deuce. They'll have to call another timeout.
No, it was a delay game. They didn't get the timeout in. Yeah, they didn't get the timeout in. He was trying. Bo Nix was trying to quieten that crowd down. They're gonna have to kick the field goal now. He was trying to quieten that crowd down. There was only 3 seconds, and he still had not gotten up under center. We saw them have to burn a timeout earlier because they were misaligned, and the tight end was on the ball, and he had to get off of the ball, and so they don't call a timeout there. And so you talk about having a clean game, hadn't been clean so far.
No, it is not. This is a different deal today. And Coach Harsin, you could see some of that emotion, having to bring out his field goal unit. Carlson has already hit from 34, this from 23. And he'll hammer that one through the uprights. So Auburn missed an opportunity to perhaps get one in the end zone. Instead, they'll take 2 field goals here in the first quarter with 2:39 to go in the first frame. Bo Nix, this offense just not clean is the word, but it hasn't been efficient. Last week, I mean, they scored in the first 7 possessions last week.
Well, I mean, right there, if Newton catches that football on the first play right after the turnover, it's 10-0, or at least an opportunity for 9-0. And so he drops that pass. You have to burn a timeout because your tight end doesn't line up correctly, and so you're right short on the quarterback keeper where he goes off of the edge to try to score. That's a prime opportunity for that team to be able to go up and score and make this game 10-0. I mean, but if you're Alabama State and you're Coach Pearson, you're fired up. I mean, for you to be in a short field situation and only to give up a field goal, you couldn't have wrote it any better for him and the confidence for that defense. Score-wise, it's 6-0 Auburn, but for Alabama State, I mean, that is a win in this first quarter.
Go through the back of the end zone one more time in a 6-0 game.
Wherever fun happens, Academy Sports and Outdoors is there.
I'm going to hang out with Laura. She always seems to be doing some fun stuff. So Alabama State going to try to pick up at least a couple of first downs. We were talking to Coach Ely this week, getting ready for this game, and he was like, we just have to manage the clock. We have to be better at picking up a first down here and there, and don't put ourselves in some bad spots.
Well, 1st and 15 doesn't help you.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
If you're Alabama State, you're asking, why didn't the play clock reset? They were able to huddle on the sideline, and they come out on the field, and the play clock is running. And so 1st and 15 doesn't help you at all.
So 1st and 15. Nettles, your quarterback. Catch and throw as he'll hit Hickson, and he is walloped right around the 25-yard line by Roger McCreary.
Stick route by the receivers outside. You've got one guy, the outside receiver, running out, and the inside guy, he just sticks up right inside, finds that soft spot in the zone, turns around, shows the quarterback his numbers, and Nettle hits him for at least picking up 6 yards there on first down.
Nettles 3 out of 5, 18 yards here in the first quarter. They'll keep it on the ground, and nothing in that blue wall stands tall. Hey, coming up later tonight on the SEC Network, SEC Football Final is back. The game led by Dari Noka, Coach Chiz, Chris Doring, Benjamin Watson. They'll take you through the biggest stories of the day and break down all the games. 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, right here on this very network. Of course, you can catch it on the ESPN app as well. One app, one tap for all your sports needs.
I know Coach Healy talked about being able to, take advantage of what the defense is giving you, but, I would love to see them try to get outside a little bit from a defensive standpoint. They hadn't tried a lot. Everything has been up the middle or inside.
Third down. Some stunts up front by Auburn. Nettle sees it. Nowhere to go. Dancing around. Finally runs right into the arms of Echo Leota.
Auburn comes up with the big sack. And from a defensive standpoint, Auburn didn't line up correctly. They still had guys running around there late. That defensive front does a nice job of just being able to get pressure. And Nettles just really doesn't have anywhere to go with the football. He tries to take off, but nowhere to go with the football. Big sack by Auburn. There's the punt unit running a guy on the field late.
Grace will punt it away. His last one was blocked. This one, end-over-end line drive, and that'll go out of bounds around the 32-yard line. Let's get an injury update from Dre.
Yeah, Dave, y'all saw Brandon Council go down earlier. He was taken care of in the tent and confirmed with Auburn staff he is good to go.
That is good news. Council's a young man that only played 5 games last year because of a knee injury, and really counting on him this year. So the senior out of Tar Heel, North Carolina, hopes to get back in there. Watch for a moment. And it's one of those things, right? I mean, you've got Penn State around the corner, and I know they're not thinking about that today. But at the same time, you got to make sure you're going in there with a healthy bunch of dudes, right?
Well, you want your best guys available to you, and so you want Jackson to be able to get a little work in as far as that guard is concerned, but at the same time, you prefer Brandon Council to be in there also.
First down and 10. Handoff coming near size to Hunter. Breaks the tackle, still on his feet, driving close to the first down line. They'll run him out of bounds around the 41-yard line. Rudy Jean-Louis pushes him out of bounds.
Jacquez Hunter, I mean, this is just effort. This is split zone, and he just bounces it. I mean, he gains an extra 3 to 4 to 5 yards. They're just a pure effort, and Auburn is going to go into the first quarter up 6 off of a big run by the freshman.
Well, not exactly the most efficient quarter by Auburn. They had to settle for a couple of field goals, some penalties, some misalignment, but they'll take a 6-0 lead at the end of 15 minutes of play.
Over the years, Mercedes-Benz has patented thousands.
The Tigers sneak into the top 25 this week after a 50-point victory last weekend against Akron. They lead at 6-0 as we start the second quarter. Dave Neal, Deuce McAllister, and Andrea Carter with you from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Bo Nix going up top. Batted away at the last minute, trying to hit Jackson. Good coverage from Peyton on the back end. His second pass broken up today.
That's a nice job by Jacquez Peyton, and that's basically just a go route. And Peyton does a nice job of, right when he sees the receiver try to throw up his hands and try to look for that football, he goes and knocks it down. So nice job as far as coverage is concerned, and we've seen him be able to do that at least twice. Probably would have been a third time if it wasn't for the pass interference call as well.
So third down and a yard and a half. Handoff left side, right in the middle of that Alabama State defense. Jacquez Hunter met there. Let's see where they will spot that. It's going to be close to the line to gain.
Yeah, I don't think he got it. The defenders are showing the motion for fourth down, and they may bring in a measurement. They don't even measure.
No, it's going to be short by about a yard. Almost. Great job again by Rudy Jean-Louis. The youngster out of Miami has been a big factor here defensively for Alabama State.
And how about the confidence right now in Jarquez Hunter being the guy that they use in this situation?
Well, it's 4th and short. He'll line up in that backfield. Little fullback lead. Hunter. He'll pick up that first down out to the 45-yard line.
Come back with it. That's power play, and he's able to just to get downhill. We talked about it earlier. Just running behind those shoulder pads, running behind that offensive line. You've got tight ends, you've got fullbacks that are both pulling, and he's able to find that weakness in that defense. And so just a nice job, one back power, and the linebacker overruns it, and Hunter's able to pick up that first down.
Auburn 2 of 5 on 3rd downs today, but convert on their first 4th down attempts. Nix throws, high throw, and that one's right through the hands of Demetrius Robertson, the senior out of Savannah who transferred in from the University of Georgia.
That's one that he's got to catch. You know, I don't know if it was just got up on him too quick, just slipped through his hands, lack of focus, lack of concentration. But Robertson has to come up with that catch. You talk about just a 5-yard hitch route. Bo Nix is on time with the throw. Should have been at least next play should have been 2nd and 5 instead of 2nd and 10.
Robertson had 42 catches in his career at Georgia with 3 touchdowns. He'll come near side with it. Here's Hudson dancing around. He'll have the first down around the 40-yard line. Let's see where they actually spot this. It'll be at the 41. Rashad Davis pushes him out of bounds.
Got the numbers outside, just a bubble screen outside and just getting him in space. Auburn is going to go fast up on the football, but nice job of picking up the first down.
Nix again coming near side. John Samuel Schenker with the catch. John Samuel had 5 grabs last week. Is their most productive tight end.
See this offense pick up a little more tempo here.
Here's Hunter, breaks a tackle. Still on his feet down to the 22-yard line.
He is a physical runner. He wants to get downhill, and he is punishing those linebackers once he gets downhill. And you can see that Auburn has found something they like. Alabama State is going to call a timeout. You can see they're a little winded from a defensive standpoint.
Alabama State.
And also to be able to tackle Hunter so much, that's taxing them a little bit.
All right, Auburn's on the move. Alabama State takes a timeout. We'll head back to Jordan-Hare Stadium right after this.
Not all.
Extra Yard for Teachers Week is an annual effort led by the College Football Playoff Foundation that brings college sports together to support and honor great teachers across the country at games and on social media. To learn more about Extra Yard for Teachers, follow at CFP Extra Yard.
1st and 10 from the 22.
1st and 10 for the Auburn Tigers as they are driving, looking for their first touchdown of the day. A couple of field goals by Carlson. Nix, this is lofted in the air, and a nice catch by Jarquez Hunter, showing us that ability to catch it out of the backfield.
Wheel route by Jarquez Hunter, and you know, that ball is perfectly placed. He's able to get 1 foot down as far as inside, and this drive has really been all about him. He's been able to run it as a running back and then obviously come up with catches as a receiver there.
Hand it off to Hunter. He's down to the 6-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal from there. Auburn's been in this area a couple of times, but kind of stubbed their toe the last time they were in this area. They had a 4th and goal from the 1 and had a delay of game penalty.
Got a banged up Alabama State player, number 90, Romel Tarver. We've seen 2 guys at least go down. Andrew Ogletree went down earlier in the game. We hadn't seen him, and Josh Long, he was able to come back in, and so that defensive line getting banged up as they go up against this Auburn Tigers front.
Tarver out of Montgomery, another big boy at 314. There is Andrew Ogletree. left early in that first quarter.
And this drive has been all about Jarquez Hunter. He's been phenomenal as far as running the football, been able to break tackles multiple times, and then you talk about being able to be a receiver out of the backfield, hit him on a wheel route. Physical runner.
So on 2nd and goal. 2 receivers near side. Hunter is your tailback. Nix looking to throw, coming to the corner of the end zone. That one is caught by Robertson. Does he hold on? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Auburn. And there is the first touchdown of the game.
There is the first touchdown of the game. Nice job of being able to come up with the reception. Beautiful throw by Nix as well. He placed that ball where only Robertson can be able to catch that football. It looked like Isaac was going to be able to undercut it, but he was not able to get a hand on it. And Robertson came up with the reception. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch.
Carlson missed a point after last week, but he'll hammer that one home. He is now 124 of 127 in his career in point afters. An 11-play, 68-yard drive. Took just shy of 4 minutes, and Bo Nix with a touchdown pass to the Georgia transfer, Demetrius Robertson.
Welcome to Allstate.
SEC Network football is presented by Allstate. Auburn with their first touchdown of the game, leading 13-0. Another look at Bo Nix hitting up Demetrius Robertson.
Just nice job of Bo Nix and Robertson. Robertson's in the slot there, and he just runs basically like a corner route, and the quarterback is able to really just break that throw off, and you can see from the pylon camera, he was able to get that 1 foot in. Isaac had pretty good coverage from Alabama State, but Bo Nix, that's just a perfect throw, and like we talked about earlier, just a beautiful catch by Robertson. He had a drop earlier in that drive on a hitch route that he should have come up with, but makes up for it there for the touchdown. Wind blows the ball off the tee there.
That'll happen.
They'll reset the play clock and have someone to come in and hold it for you. That's Donovan Kaufman.
There's Robertson getting some high fives, including his quarterback. Had 3 catches last week. So Carlson with another kick that will hit in the end zone.
The kick goes into the end zone with a touchback.
Well, our critically acclaimed series, True South, returns for its 4th season tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, with John T. Edge traveling around Scott, Louisiana, meeting the locals at a Cajun dance hall, exploring eateries and learning more about the culture and history of the South. Basically getting to know good people through food. What's wrong with that, right? Right here on the SEC Network and, of course, the ESPN app. You ever been to Scott, Louisiana?
Passed through Scott. Haven't been hang out in Scott, Louisiana.
Don't know that I've been there. Trying to set up a screen, flag down in the backfield. They go to Jones with it, who bounces around like a pinball.
It's going to be offsides on Auburn. They had a safety pressure coming off the edge. Smoke Monday was coming off the edge, and he was offside. Got in that neutral zone a little bit. And
Offside. Defense, number 21, in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Alabama State had a pretty good play call because they were running a screen to that side. You want that offensive lineman to be able to pick off the cornerback because it's in a one-on-one situation as far as matchup is concerned, and then all of the other traffic would have been coming as far as flow is concerned. So nice play call, just didn't execute it, but you still pick up the first down.
First down and 5 coming up for Alabama State. Pass is caught on the outside by Wallace Corker. Roger McCreary pushes him out of bounds, but that'll be good enough to move the chains, and that is exactly what Coach Ely's looking for. Pick up that first down. Chew up some of that clock, shorten this game up a little bit.
Shorten it up a little bit. It's just a 5-yard out route. They were on time with the throw. Auburn playing a little bit of soft coverage.
Second first down of the game for the Hornets. second with it. Pass is caught there by Ja'Cory Merritt. He has a big gain across midfield.
Nice job of the tackle and the receiver from the outside on this screen here as they just get it to Merritt. And we've seen them run, so that's 2 plays. 3 out of 3 plays they've run 2 different types of screen, and this time they're able to complete it and get Merritt in space, and he's able to pick up another first down for him.
Gain of 15. By the way, we have not seen their best running back, Ezra Gray, the 5th-year senior out of Lynn Haven, Florida. He is available today, but he is now, to my knowledge, he hasn't set foot on the field yet. They have gone right here with Ja'Cory Merritt, who has done a nice job. Owen Papo making the tackle. Let's go downstairs to Dre.
Guys, I just saw Papo telling his teammates to shift, communicating with the team. If this Auburn defense needs energy, look to the linebackers. Coach Harsin said they are the core of the team, and defensive coordinator Derek Mason said they are the engine. So look for the linebackers to give this unit some energy.
They missed a lot last time on this formation here.
Nowhere to go. He is stopped there. Good job by Chandler Wood.
Andrea, just to follow up what you were saying on that previous play, Auburn missed a line. They bumped down too far and so basically Alabama State comes back with the same play, and this time they're not able to get outside. The previous play they were able to get outside. That time it was so much penetration inside. Auburn didn't slide over enough on that previous play. That time they lined up right, and you see it's basically for no gain.
Wooten had 6 stops against Akron with a big play there, and now it's 3rd down and 6. Empty set. Nettles fires. Quick hitter to Hickson. He'll have the first down. By Darius Knight, the strong safety, making the play in the secondary, but not before the chains start moving again.
And that's another thing, Ryan Nettles, you have to be impressed with him as far as knowing where he wants to go with this football. I mean, even in some one-on-one situations, or at least right there, it's just a quick slant, and he's able to hit the right guy with the football to pick up that first down.
Gain of 11. Best drive of the day for the Hornets for sure. 3 receivers near side. Nettles trying to hit Hickson again. A flag will come in. There is a flag around that SEC logo on the 25-yard line. They're actually going to move that up a little bit, and Alabama State and Auburn both moving. McCreary on Hickson again today. Has been that matchup.
And I think that was still a reception as well.
Yeah.
Still a reception, but I don't know if they're going to call
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 21. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. First down.
Wow, that turns into a really big play.
So not only do they come up with the catch, but they get smoked Monday, and it had to be off of the press. That's exactly what it was. It was off of the press. He was able to catch him. And so not only do you give up the reception, but then you get tacked on. It's only half the distance since you can't give them the full 15, but another face mask penalty. And so that's another, we'll call it miscue by this Auburn unit overall.
Nettles having a good start to this game, but they'll bring in Miles Crawley now. Again, the freshman out of Tucker, Georgia, Tucker High School.
They call a timeout. First time we saw him, it was a quarterback power.
Alabama State. Their second of the half.
Yeah.
So Donald Hill-Ely will take the timeout as Alabama State's knocking on the door. Back in a moment.
Imagine a salad made with fresh-cut vegetables and warm hand.
Not in.
Well, there's number 20, Ezra Gray, who is his 6th year of college football, super senior, was first team All-SWAC last year. Had a SWAC high 436 yards rushing in that shortened season. Of course, they played in the spring, so a quick turnaround for the Hornets to suit up for the fall, but they are knocking on the door. Miles Crawley, number 7, and at quarterback. On a 1st and goal, the big boy trying to go left side, nothing there. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 5.
The quarterback keeper, and he's just running inside zone, but I mean, he never allowed it to really develop as far as up front with that offensive line and Kobe Wooden and Marcus Harris for Auburn. They're just able to make the tackle. I mean, if you're going to run a quarterback keeper, you got to at least let the offensive line be able to send them one way or the other. It's a zone. It's a zone play for them, and so they've got to be able to develop and push those guys one way or the other, and he just took off right away.
You wonder if they're setting him up for something here. Maybe throw off this a little bit. They will bootleg left to the end zone, and that one is through the hands of an Auburn defender. It looked like by Darius Knighton had a chance for the interception. They were looking for Josh Knight in the end zone.
Well, I don't like them switching the quarterbacks, and here Nettle comes back into the game. They just try to run a Q9 player, basically, and you want to hit the guy in the flat, but he's not open, and so the guy that's covering, number 19, that's covering Knighton, he ends up almost making that play, and so Knighton, he falls off of the guy that's in the flat. It almost makes that interception. Nettle is back in the game now.
Third down and go. Couple of tight ends. Two receivers to the near side, including Hickson in the slot. They'll go underneath, and pass is caught. Terrence Ellis with the reception, but you got to get that one to the end zone, right?
Yeah, but he didn't have it. So if you don't have it, you go ahead and take the yardage. You kick the field goal. I mean, we don't want to say it's a moral victory, but at that point, it's a moral victory for Alabama State in that offense. He really didn't want to force it, and I don't really like them taking it out as far as Nettles. He's been too good as far as throwing the football for this team, getting them in the right plays, getting it to the right playmaker. But then you take him out for, all right, I understand maybe the quarterback run, but then that second play, I want Nettles in the game to be able to make that decision for me.
Blocked. It is scooped up by Auburn. It is a foot race to the goal line. Nehemiah Pritchett to the end zone.
Two special teams plays for this Auburn team comes up huge for them, and now you have a sudden change where Alabama State, they have to get lined up to be able to block as far as the field goal is concerned. And so you talk about a shift in momentum for a team and get a crowd roaring again. That's exactly what happens. I mean, Alabama State, they're about to put points on the board, and you come away with that kind of that victory as far as moral is concerned, and they ended up getting a field goal block. You've had a punt block. Special team has been horrendous for them.
80 yards on that return by Nehemiah Pritchett. He looked more like Ronaldo Nehemiah for those old school track and field specialists, connoisseurs. Wooden with the block, helping his teammate Nehemiah Pritchett, and just like that, Auburn up by 20.
Coming up on the Farm Ridge Halftime Report, Peter Burns and my three closest friends start talking about the 4 different games in action right now. CD, a little momentum change right there in the play.
Yeah, special teams, man, we don't give it enough credit sometimes.
And not enough emotion. I'd love to see some more emotion from Auburn right now.
Sloppy, got to be more efficient, delay of games.
You talking about B or during? Or the game? Oh, we'll talk to you guys at half.
That might be the most handsome 4 dudes you see on television right there. That's a lot of money invested in those suits. Grant is pull on the return, nowhere to go. Looking forward to those guys coming up at halftime. There is a flag down way back toward midfield. We'll wait for that.
Offsides Auburn, and so you talk about some miscues. They have had a ton of them. And I'm surprised the returner did.
Offside. Kicking team, number 27. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Yeah.
That's 6 penalties in the first half.
Yeah, I'm surprised Poole didn't fair catch that as well. He caught that. Wasn't really running forward. He caught it on the 10, and so Alabama State is going to make them re-kick it, and so they feel like that they may be able to get better. I definitely believe that they can get better field position
they'd have to really mess this one up, I think, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, the other kickoffs have basically been touchbacks in the end zone, and so I'm sure if they do a better job of either fair catching that ball if they feel like it's not clean enough for them, or at least getting out. So I guess about the 20. We've seen the wind. We saw one kickoff. The wind blew the football off the tee, and it looked like there it hung up in the air a little bit. Kind of surprised pulled the returner.
Boy, Coach Harsin is up and down that sideline, just shaking his head. Seems like every shot we get at him, he's frustrated about something today.
Well, you've at least doubled the penalties from last week already, and you've only played not even a full half of football.
Yeah, just 3 penalties last week, and they were really clean in every aspect of the game, and that hasn't been the case today. And as you said, tomorrow will be a little different than what last Sunday was around the football building, that's for sure, as Penn State is on the horizon. Carlson will kick this one through the end zone, so they will get better field position out to the 25-yard line. But he has to be happy about this. The special teams, which he is heavily involved in, Coach Harsin, comes up with a big block kick and a return.
Yeah, Wooten just does a nice job of just being able to get penetration. They really overloaded that left side of the offensive line as far as blocking was concerned, and Wooten comes up and he's able to get his arm, that right arm with the brace on it. He's able to get that arm up, and it's a blocked field goal. And it's a short field goal attempt for Alabama State as well, and not able to convert.
80 yards on that return. The last time Auburn blocked a field goal for a touchdown. Blocked a punt or a field goal in the same game, excuse me, was back in 2013, and they did that against the Crimson Tide. So they've done that today. Blocked a punt, blocked a field goal.
You're bringing up some bad memories for some people there, sir.
Or good, depending on how you look at it.
If you're looking at it,
right.
if you're an Auburn fan, then yeah, that's outstanding. Alabama State taking their time here. Let that play clock run down a little bit.
Clock moving to 5.5 minutes to go before halftime. Nettles lofts it up. Boy, dangerous throw. That one's batted out of the air by Roger McCreary.
It's a quick game throw, and so it's only 5 yards, and he had to double hitch. He had to double pump, and by that time, that defensive back he's sitting right on that play, and so you saw those offensive linemen, they're cutting because it's 3 seconds, and the football is supposed to be gone. And once he had to double hitch, the defensive back, he's sitting on that hitch route that the inside slot receiver ran.
By the way, just to update you, the last time Auburn blocked a field goal for a touchdown was against Kentucky in 2009. Three-man rush, a long throw, caught by Jones. He ended up, I think, losing a yard on that.
Yeah, he did, and this flag probably is going to be down against Alabama State. They were just running another screen play, and they've had some success running those. They're standing around maybe hoping that it's not going to be on them, but I think that's who they're going to get.
Personal foul, blocking below the waist, 66 offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Kind of throw and roll in certain situations, and that time he gets up the field, and Stafford is the offensive lineman that's going to get caught there and trying to clean it up a little bit. Those referees, and you can't throw in that certain situation. And what I mean by throw is as far as throwing your body and maybe rolling, or you can't cut in that situation as well.
So Demetrius Robinson changes jersey numbers. He starts as 0, but because he is on the field with Owen Papo now, he changes to number 12 and will return this punt. It is an end-over-end punt. It ends up taking a Hornet favorable bounce inside the 35-yard line. Hey, coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performance of the Auburn University Marching Band. It's on SEC Network Plus. You can start streaming right now on the ESPN app. That's coming up in 4:47 off this game clock. It's good to be back in the stadium. Fans, bands. Robertson takes off number 12, goes back to his usual 0.
It's been a while since we saw this offense out there, just because you've had so much action with special teams going out there and making plays. And so we do see Tank Bigsby back on the field. Last drive, it was more so all Jordan-Hare Hunter. Now you have stoppage in play by the officials, and so I don't know if Robertson can play this play since he was on the field for the last play in number 12. He may have to come off the field for this play. He can't put the number 0 on for this particular play. He may have to come off for one play.
Number 12 for Auburn is now wearing 0.
And they just let us know.
Yeah, they said that's who you have to check in, right?
They just let us know. You can still continue to play, but you're number 0 now.
You couldn't fool us, though. Deuce, we were all over it. And there he goes in motion. Old number 0. Nix looks that way, then comes back, tries to set up a little screen. He had a lineman in front of him. Bigsby just dropped it. It's good to see Council back in there, by the way. And he was going to be a one-man escort for Mr. Bigsby, and there was a lot of green grass out there.
And that defensive lineman just bothered him enough. Yeah, it bothered him enough. Perfect call. They're playing man-to-man, and it was set up perfectly. Nobody is out there, and they just did just enough to get in front of him to get that incomplete.
Quick hitter, the outside, covered well. On the outside by Isaac as they hit Jackson with it. I was just thinking, Council's probably in a roundabout way kind of thinking, man, that was kind of, he probably looked up and saw he had 70 yards to run. He was like, maybe this is the worst thing that could happen. The big fella.
That's on cruise control right there.
Nix slings it sidearm. That one is batted down. Look at trying to find Hudson, but Darius Whitehurst got his paw in there and slapped it to the turf.
Nice job of that defense. They are coming from all angles. Coach Pearson, the defensive coordinator for Alabama State, talked about that as well. And Darius Whitehurst, you know, if this ball maybe is not on a rope and he puts a little bit of air under, he's able to run up under it. But since Bo Nix kind of almost just, you know, on line drive, that Whitehurst is able to get a hand on it, and they're almost about to get off the field. At least they force a 4th down.
Auburn 2 of 6 on 3rd downs here in the first half. Chapman's punt, fair catch called for at the 15-yard line by McMinn. And Alabama State's defense does their job, and they'll turn the football back over to the offense, who had their best drive of the game. The only problem was it ended in a blocked field goal that resulted in a touchdown. Our all-state celebration moment was just moments ago, and yeah, this is a good one to celebrate if you're an Auburn student. Pritchett the other way, 80 yards.
Football is the game of life, and it brings the community together. White, black, boys, girls.
Flag, tackle, football.
Two times, one time Auburn misaligned and they were able to get a big gainer. The other 2 times it was up the middle. This time they run a little action off of it. And if you're Alabama State, you want this football out quick. Good job as far as getting the football out quick, but number 11, he never gets up the field. And so Dioff, he never gets up the field. Just a nice job by McCray of being able to come up to make that tackle. And at some point, you've got to get up the field, force that action as far as to be able to pick up that yardage. You lost yardage on that reception, and so now they're going to be forced to have to punt.
Apologize for those technical difficulties a moment ago, but Auburn's defense stands tall, forces the punt, stop Alabama State on 3rd and less than a yard, and the Horns will punt it away. Tigers have a blocked field goal and a blocked punt today. Grace stands at his 9-yard line. Robertson will make the catch, coming near side. He's got a wall of blockers. And he will run it out of bounds at the 32, wearing 0 this time because Papo wasn't on the field, who also wears 0, so able to stay in his normal number and didn't have to put on the 12 jersey. A return of 24 yards.
That return unit did a nice job of being able to set up the wall to the left side of the field there for Robertson, and you've got the upbacks and the traffic from behind that are able to tackle an injured Alabama State player. Getting up slowly, he was able to walk off a little bit. Took a couple steps, but
that's Luke Barnes, who's their long snapper. Luke, interesting story, does some videos with long snapping. Matter of fact, there's one somewhere on social media you can find. He's snapping it from the top of the stadium to a trash can down on the field and nailed it.
Well, that's definitely not the guy that you want to lose in any situation. I mean, because you talk about your long snapper, not only for punts, but more than likely for field goals as well. And so a lot of teams don't carry multiple guys that can do exactly what he does, and so hopefully he's okay.
Talking to one of the guys on our crew today, and they were down at the beach in Destin area, I believe, and Luke Barnes was down there. He's from Arizona. He was enjoying a day at the beach and rescued a young child from a riptide. Pulled him out. Saved the young man's life. Just a normal day for old Luke, I guess.
Wow.
2:25 to go before halftime. Nix scrambling and throwing, a high throw, incomplete. They were trying to come near side to Capers, but he was covered quite well around the 10-yard line, so Nix had to go reverse course and throw it away.
Yeah, and so what they tried to do, fool you with a little play action and then come with Capers, who's running kind of like a sail route, and so he was running in and coming back outside, and just too much pressure there by that Alabama State defense, and they were finally able to get to him. The linebacker was able to get to him.
There goes Hudson in motion across that formation. They will hand it off inside to Tank Bigsby, and he has nowhere to go, and the big man up the middle, Christian Clark. Love talking to him this week. He is a young man full of energy and has dropped about 50 pounds. He was almost 400 pounds when they finished up their spring season last year. He is now down to about 340 pounds. Said it was a business decision.
Well, one that is paying off definitely for him.
Third down. Nix loses the football.
Alabama State has the football.
Yes, they do. They will take over. Joshua Long comes up with that football, and Alabama State snuffs out a late drive.
Well, Bo Nix there, he's in the 2-minute offense, and so had an opportunity early, but as he tries to climb up in the pocket, one of the defensive linemen for Alabama State was able to get his hand on the football, and his eyes are down the field, but you've got to be able to protect the football, and so it just slips out of his hands. That was number 98 there that was able to get a hand on it, Joshua Long, to be able to knock it out for them. Alabama State comes up with the turnover.
Quick hitter over the middle, incomplete, little high throw. Well, that's a dangerous throw. Hickson was the intended receiver.
Yeah, that's probably the first time that Nettles has made a bad decision as far as throwing the football and putting it in the right place. He goes with the slot receiver, the inside guy. There is a lot of traffic in there. You talk about linebackers and safeties both in there. He probably should have went to the outside receiver there.
Nowhere to run from Merritt. Auburn does have a timeout left. It's third down. Zacoby McClain with his 6th tackle here in the first half. Zacoby in the opener had 7 stops. Time for the team lead in that department.
And if you're Alabama State, you run this play clock all the way down. You know, if Auburn isn't going to use their timeout right now, you don't want to give them too much more time to be able to make a play on you here as this quarter comes to an end. And what's interesting is Alabama State had the box, they had the numbers there, and they were still not able to get any positive yards on that run play.
Nettles will pick up the first down near that Auburn logo at the 46-yard line. They'll move the chains.
And we've seen them be able to use their other quarterback, Crawley. We haven't really seen them run Nettles a lot, and this time it's a design quarterback run, able to get behind Stafford, and he's able to pick up a first down.
Gain of 11.
See if they try to push the football down the field a little bit here.
Clock continues to run. They've lost about 20 seconds since they set the chains. Nettles, he'll be dropped, and Alabama State may just let the clock run out here.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's what Coach Ely is saying. Let's get to the locker room. Probably had a shot there. Protection broke down on him.
TD Moultrie picks up the sack. TD had a big game in the opener. 3 tackles behind the line against Akron and 7 total stops. So that will be the final play of the first half. Not a smooth first couple of quarters for the Auburn Tigers. I'm sure Coach Harsin will have a little message for his guys to wake up. He was worried about the 11 a.m. kickoff and how the guys would come out and perform. But regardless, it is a 20-0 Auburn Tiger advantage after 30 minutes of football. Coach Harsin making his way down to Andrea Carter in the end zone. And let's go down to her right now. Dre?
Coach Harsin, you mentioned the 11 a.m. start being an obstacle. How do you evaluate your team's first half focus?
Well, we're losing the turnover battle right now. We got to be able to catch the ball. I think the defense is playing well. They did a great job there just to finish the drive out, get a block, get a touchdown off of that. So we just got to run the ball. We got to catch the ball. We got to be more consistent on the offensive side, and really got to go in there and just focus on that and just do our jobs.
You mentioned offensive consistency. What has to happen for that unit to get some momentum in the second half?
Yeah, hang on to the ball, number one. Catch it when it's thrown to you, and then we got to block the right people. So it's really it's simple right now. We just got to do our job, and we're not doing it at this point. So we need to make sure we do it in the second half.
Coach, thank you.
Well, he's certainly calm for a guy that seemed a little agitated walking up and down the sidelines. It's a 20-0 Auburn lead. He says it's simple. And this is a simple toss, as we say in the business, to Peter Burns.
Thank you, Dave Neal. Welcome to the
SEC Network football presented by Allstate. We're back at Jordan-Hare Stadium, moments away from second half football. The Auburn Tigers lead at 20-0 over Alabama State out of the SWAC. But Deuce McAllister, obviously, Coach Harsin wanted his team to be as clean, as efficient as they were in the 50-point win against Akron last week. With that being said, what were your thoughts about the first half?
Sluggish, and what I mean by that, you just had too many mistakes. There were things that were not common that we've seen this Auburn team be able to go out and do. Here's a sudden change opportunity, and this is a walk-in for Newton as far as the touchdown. He doesn't look it in. He just drops it. And so he would have been right there. If not scoring, he would have been down at the 1-yard line. And here, they can't line up right. They already have 3 receivers outside. 1 is on the ball. And so your tight end, he lines up on the ball, and Bo Nix has to trying to tell him to get off the line of scrimmage. They have to burn a timeout. And here's one. They're on the goal line, and they're going to go for it. It's 4th down and short. Bo Nix is trying to quieten the crowd down. They're down there by the student section, but they have to call another timeout. Coach Harsin does, because it's a delay of game, and so they end up actually getting the delay of game before Coach Harsin calls that timeout. So just too many miscues from that Auburn team. 7 penalties this week. You only had 3 last week. They get the ball first here to start this third quarter, so we'll see if they're a lot cleaner this second half.
Despite all that, they lead 20-0. You look at the rush yards last week, -3 for Akron, 13 yards on the ground today for Alabama State. Passing yards for Bo Nix, just 80 on 8 of 16 throwing the football. Was sacked 1 time. Alabama State wins the time of possession battle, but it's those penalties that has just decimated some drives for this Auburn team. So if you're Alabama State, you got to feel pretty good that you're able to hang in here, and you even blew an opportunity.
You blew an opportunity. You were down there in the red zone. Really 2 opportunities. Because if you punt the ball, at least they don't get it on a short field situation, and then the other one, they were able to block a field goal and take it all the way back on you. So you talk about, that was one thing that Coach Ely talked about, winning quarters, and they had an opportunity at least to win some quarters in that first half, and they didn't close it out.
Little pooch kick to the near side. Alabama State picks it up. What a play out of the locker room for the Hornets. As Tevin Sharp scoops it up on a perfect bounce, and the Hornets will have it in Auburn territory around the 42, 43-yard line. My goodness.
Yeah, that's really an onside kick, and so they did an outstanding job. And Tevin Sharp, he's the end man on the line as far as when they line up to kick this, and he's cheated up. He's already cheated up, so he doesn't get a head start, and he just catches Auburn. Auburn is looking for them to kick that football deep to be able to get a great return, and Alabama State is able to steal a possession as they come out for the third quarter.
Right out of the locker room. Coach Ely pushing the envelope a little bit, down 20-0. Nettles comes near side, high toss, looking for Sharp, the man who just scooped up that onside kick. Let's go downstairs, check in with Andre. Got a chance to talk with Coach Ely at Alabama State.
Yeah, Dave, Coach Ely told me his message to the team at halftime was to keep playing. He was really happy with his team's energy, specifically on holding off the pass rushers of Auburn's defense. He said he thought his defense did a good job getting up and down the field, and he wants them to keep the energy.
Well, he certainly brought some energy with the decision that worked out well for the Hornets. It's 2nd down and 10 now. Little underneath route caught there by Corker. Donovan Kaufman, the Vanderbilt transfer, on the coverage.
Got 2 speed out, and guys probably lined up wrong, but Nettles was still able to run that completion. They're stacked on top of each other, and so whether it's an alignment deal coming out of the huddle or when they lined up, but they were still able to complete it, but got to get a little better spacing.
On 3rd down, and a little miscommunication, trying to hit Jones with it. He was going down the far sidelines.
Yeah, Jones never looked. It looked like Jones was running a go route, and Nettles, you had a guy coming, the tight end coming into the flat, but he was looking for him to be able to just stop. It was a back shoulder throw, and that's what it was. That's what he was looking for, and that's what Coach Ely is over there telling him. You know, that's a back shoulder throw. He didn't want him to run a complete go, and so you were able to steal a possession, but you can't cash in on it. So let's see if they run a fake here. I mean, they've already had an onside kick, and so they blocked one. Auburn is not going to allow them to run a fake because they're going to have defense safe out there, so they're going to keep their defense out on the field. They're looking for any and everything at this point now. So now it's delay a game. I don't know. Well, no, timeout by Auburn.
Timeout.
Wow.
Auburn, the first of the half.
Auburn calls a timeout. There was 0 seconds on the play clock, and so first thing you think.
This is a 30-second timeout.
First thing that you think is a delay a game, and Auburn wants to make sure that they have the right personnel because at least they had defense safe out on the field, and that's what they were making sure that they have enough guys and the right personnel on the field.
Let's go downstairs, get an update with Andrea.
You guys talked earlier about Ezra Gray and why we haven't seen him as much on the field. I talked to head coach Donald Ely, and he said Ezra's dealing with a bruise from last week. He told me they have a lot of conference goals and a long season, so they're just being cautious with Gray today.
Boy, if you're Ezra, that's a tough pill to swallow, right? I mean, you get to be on this stage.
Yeah, and to show that and prove that you're a elite enough athlete that you can compete with a team like Auburn, and you don't get a chance to showcase it.
But yeah, I mean, this certainly is one of those situations where you got Bethune-Cookman coming up as your next game, who just entered the SWAC from the MEAC conference, and a big rivalry to say the least to get ready for that one. Here's Grace, 1 step and kick. That one is out of bounds, so let's find out where they spot that. Getting close to the 10. Right at the 10-yard line. So just a 29-yard punt, but a good one nonetheless. Let's check out the celebration moment. Brought to you by Allstate. Oh, excuse me. I'm 1 step ahead. How about the smoothest play brought to you by Velveeta? And for that, Demetrius Robinson in the end zone. This was a pretty smooth catch by Robertson. Got his feet in bounds. His first touchdown reception for the Auburn Tigers after 3 of those as a member of the University of Georgia Bulldogs. Bigsby on that handoff. Let's see if they lean on this run game a little bit more here in the third quarter with Bigsby and Hunter. Now remember, Sean Shivers, medical issue, not playing today. So you missed the 5'7", 190-pound kind of scat back, if you will, who is just a tremendous athlete. But nonetheless, we're getting a chance to see the true freshman Hunter as well today.
Yeah, Bigsby and Hunter have done a good job as far as being involved in the offense. Just too many miscues.
They'll go Bigsby again. Breaks through that line out over the 25 to the 27-yard line. That'll be a first down for Auburn.
Auburn is using personnel. They went from 3 receivers, and now they're going back to 2 tight ends. And so that time it was just an inside zone run, and Bigsby, he just finds that soft spot and right over the center and offensive line, the center and guard. They do a nice job of being able to create that lane for him. He's able to pick up the first down.
Talking to Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator for Auburn, and says that they'll use Bo Nix under center 15–20% of the time, but mainly they like the shotgun. This one works out pretty well. Bigsby, big gainer, still on his feet. It falls at the 23-yard line. I thought he was going to sneak out of there. Ken Isaac just had enough, Keenan Isaac, of his jersey to bring him down, but a big gainer of 51 yards for Tank Bigsby, who's now up over 100 yards again.
Bigsby, the same thing, zone, able to jump cut, be able to get up on that defense. Cornerback can't bring him down, the safety can't bring him down, and the other corner is finally able to bring him down. And you've got another Alabama State player, looks like he's cramping out there. Trainers run out to check on him. We've seen Auburn offense use a little tempo as well.
Well, Tank Bigsby goes over 100 yards for the 6th time in his young career. Went over 1,000 yards for his career earlier today, and now sits at 122 on just 11 carries. Back in a moment. Take a look at a smoothest play brought to you by Velveeta, and Tank Bigsby goes up over 100 yards for the 6th time in his career in back-to-back games on this 51-yard toe. You said he looked a little stiff on this run.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be able to pull away from those defensive backs, but he wasn't able to finish it. Anytime you're a running back, you get in the open, you go score. You want to go and score. I don't know if Tank thought that he was going to get that big of a run, though, coming out of halftime like that.
Well, he's loose now. After that one, flag comes down at the line of scrimmage. There's Tank, cut it to the outside. Inside the 10-yard line, but we'll wait and see if this one will be coming back.
Yeah, it's a procedure. The motion guy was going forward once they snapped the football, and so that's going to be on against Auburn. So that's another miscue. So it should be illegal procedure.
Coach Harsin over there. What are we doing?
Illegal shift. 2 players moving. 5-yard penalty. First down.
We'll go with illegal shift in. But yeah, it was two players moving right when the ball was snapped. One was going forward. And so, no, Coach Harsin for Auburn is not going to be happy at all. I mean, because you're talking about your running backs being able to make plays, and that happened away from where the ball actually went, so it had no effect on the actual play.
Pretty impressive numbers by Bigsby. 11 yards per carry. Averaged 9 last weekend. Nix going up top, has Robertson, his 2nd touchdown grab of the game, 28 yards, and a beautiful throw from Bo Nix.
Just go route. Just a go route. Bo Nix, he places it perfectly. You get the probably Isaac, the defensive back, looking into the backfield. That's a little slight action as far as from Bo Nix there, and so it's just a go route, and that is placed perfect. And Isaac is not close to being in position. And Demetrius Robinson comes up with his 2nd touchdown of the day. Bo just puts a perfect ball as far as putting enough air up under it, and Demetrius Robertson is able to run right up under it. But I think Keenan Isaac, number 10, got caught with his eyes in the backfield just because they've had so much success running the football.
6-yard touchdown pass for Nix and a 28-yard touchdown pass for Bo Nix today. Now 5 touchdown throws in this game and change. Point after is up and good. So Bo Nix now 9 of 17, couple of touchdowns, a $108 through the air, 28 of those right here to Demetrius Robertson. Back in a moment.
Subway has.
Take a look at our celebration moment brought to you by Allstate. And, well, these two young men have celebrated twice today. Bo Nix to Demetrius Robertson. Had 3 touchdown catches in his Georgia career, has 2 this afternoon, and they will celebrate with a low 5. Bo Nix with a couple of touchdown passes.
Injuries were the only question on Demetrius Robertson. Talent was never a question. I mean, you look at what he was able to do coming out of high school. I mean, he was one of the elite, maybe the best receiver according to a couple of scouting profiles, but injuries kind of held him back.
Carlson's getting a good workout today on kickoffs. That one will roll out through the end zone. Hey, coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central, our Week 2 football lineup rolls on with number 1 Alabama hosting Mercer. Number 20 Ole Miss will host Austin Peay. Boy, did they look good on Monday night in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Missouri against Kentucky in a big SEC opener for those 2 clubs. And LSU looks to bounce back against McNeese State. Every game is also available on the ESPN app. I thought LSU was going to put it on UCLA. Boy, did I miss that one by a mile.
Physical, not physical enough up front.
Oh, speaking of physical, that was a huge hit up front by Zacoby McClain, who hit Jared Daniels right in the hole. 8 stops now for number 9.
He comes out of the game, McClain, and that just running that split zone, and there's nobody that gets up on that linebacker, and McClain is just, he likes to hit, he likes to be physical, and we see him there. That's how you want to tackle and wrap up.
I'd leave the game too after that. Enough of this. A move pocket, throw near side, pass is caught there. Good spin move out near the first down line for Jones. Let's see where they'll spot it at the 35, and that'll be good enough for a first down. Good work by the Hornets.
Quarterback roll out, move in the pocket a little bit, not necessarily thinking you're going to get pressure, but just to be able to give the quarterback maybe a cleaner look, a cleaner pocket in there. We're running that little sprint right for the quarterback, and he hits Jones for enough for a first down.
Nettles 14 of 20, 97 yards. Daniels back in the game and running back. D-Hop, the tight end, in motion. A slip screen near side, and that will go to Karen Jones again, and he'll pick up 8.5 yards.
Talking to Coach Ely, Alabama State's head coach, he talked about maybe doing some different things that you normally wouldn't see, and one of those are running a lot of screen plays. We've seen them running to the wide receivers, whether it was quick screen. We tried to see them set up some running back screens, some different plays, just because they know how fast this Auburn defense is, and you just want to put your players in one-on-one situations.
4-man look from Auburn. They'll run to the strong side of the formation. That's a good run by Jared Daniels. He'll have the first down. It was 2nd down and 3. And he'll pick up 10.
That's the first time that we've seen them try to get outside as well. Everything else has been either misdirection or right up the middle, and that's the first time that they were able to actually get the edge. You've used really those 2 tight ends. They would shift motion, and like I said, they've been running a lot of inside zone action, and that's the first time they try to get outside, and they were able to do so, pick up the first down.
Low snap. Picked up there by Nettles, but nowhere to go.
That's a fumble.
And he lost the football for a 2nd time.
Yeah, Auburn got that football, I think, too.
And the Tigers do come out of there with it. Scooped up by Colby Wooden.
So on that play, Nettles tries to make something out of it. There was a low snap originally, and so he decides, I'm going to just tuck it and be able to take off running, but he never is able to be able to get the football tucked away and they do a great job. Marcus Birch does an outstanding job of being able to strip that ball away, and Auburn is able to create a turnover. Coach Harsin, Auburn's head coach, talked about, hey, look, we need to create more turnovers. Last week they go back, you look at not creating any turnovers, and now they're able to come up with the turnover here, and obviously special teams-wise, you've come up with a couple as well.
This Auburn defense got some serious playmakers. Bo Nix has all day to throw, going up top. Looking for Jackson. Flags come in all over the place.
Really, you can probably go both ways as far as pass interference is concerned, but I think they're going to get the defense. Martin never got his number 25. Martin never got his head around as far as to find the football.
Pass interference, defense number 25, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So that's 2 times that we've seen them have a sudden change situation where they get a turnover and they try to go for the explosive play. So Auburn will push the football down the field, and that's twice where they've gotten a turnover, once on the block punt, and now they're on the fumble recovery. And Auburn, the next play, they try to push it down for a touchdown, and this time they come up with the penalty. The first time they came up, it should have been a touchdown, but it was a drop by Newton.
Little reverse. Here's Robertson turning the corner. Got a couple of blockers out there. Oh, he stays in bounds. Touchdown, Auburn. What a day for Robertson. 36 yards on that little scamper. And his 3rd touchdown of the day.
And that'll count as a rush just because it was behind the line of scrimmage, and it looked like that may have been a first down as far as carry for him, but he's able to avoid the defender, the offensive lineman. He had a guy out front, and he missed him, but Robertson is still smooth enough, and you look at how he's able to maneuver. That's a tight end out in front of him. You look at how he's able to maneuver here on this sideline and stay in bounds. He never came close. That's a touchdown. So you come away with 2 receptions as a touchdown and then 1 as far as a run is concerned. That's a pretty good day as well.
They're waiting just to make sure that Robertson did stay in bounds.
He's got on white shoes, so I think if anything it would have blended in, but he didn't step out.
They will give him credit for that touchdown, and here's Carlson with the point after. And it is now 34-0. So the Tigers take advantage of the fumble recovery. Demetrius Robertson takes it to the house for his 3rd touchdown. Demetrius Robertson, who transferred in from the University of Georgia, actually started his career at Cal. In 2016, was a freshman All-America, 50 catches, broke Deshaun Jackson's freshman receiving yard record and Keenan Allen's freshman reception record while he was at Cal. Then came to Georgia, and just as Deuce was talking about, just never really kind of clicked for him, but had a year left and decided to transfer here. Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, telling us having him here, he's on every special teams. He's showing the guys what it takes, how hard you have to work, and that work has certainly paid off for Demetrius here today. A short kick taken around the 15-yard line and out to the 28-yard lines. You know, one of the things Auburn trying to find is who's going to be their guy on the outside. Well, Robertson today with 3 catches, 61 yards, not to mention the 36-yard touchdown run. But Bigsby and Nix not as efficient as he was last week, but Tank doing what he does.
Yeah, that definitely helps. And when you talk about having those type of weapons offensively, Robertson is one of those guys. Shedrick Jackson also can be a player. And I mean, if I'm Auburn, I'm leaning on that run game. I mean, because hey, look, you've got that 3-headed monster. Let those guys go to work and then mix in everything else.
Alabama State trailing 34-0. Near side pass caught around the 28-yard line by Johnson. By the way, Robertson's 3 touchdowns. He's the first Tiger to score 3 touchdowns in a game since Booby Whitlow did it against Mississippi State a couple of years ago.
That's another low snap from their center, and their traditional center is out. He's not playing. he's basically on the team, but he's not playing, and that's back-to-back snaps that we've seen have been low to Nettles.
Second down and manageable here for the Hornets. Second down and 4. Run to the right side. Another big hit. Ja'Cory Merritt hit by Zakoby McClain, who's now in double figures again. That is the 8th career game in double-figure tackles for Zakoby McClain. Let's go down to Drea.
I talked to Zakoby McClain earlier this week. He said he feels like he can visualize what's going to happen before it happens, and his mentality is, I'm not going to get beat by anybody, guys. He told me he wants to be a legend and remembered forever.
We all do it, don't we? Yeah, right? Zakoby, though, Coach is telling us, Coach Harsin telling us that Zakoby's one of those throwback guys that just wants to just hit people. I mean, that's, you know, this is a contact sport, and he takes that to heart.
Previous play was outside zone. This time, Alabama State comes with inside zone, and he has a chance right there to meet him at the line of scrimmage, but the running back was able to get lower than he did that time. Daniels, I think that was on that carry, was able to get lower, and now Alabama State has too many guys on the field.
There's McClain closing in on 200 career tackles.
Substitution infraction, offense, 12 players in formation, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang and our own Andrea Carter take you inside the world of SEC sports. Laid-back interviews, lots of laughs, and Lang's signature passion for finding the best food the SEC has to offer. The show is 1 hour now, every Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, right here on the SEC Network. And Andrea, I got to ask you something. I saw Alyssa chewing on a very ripe banana last week in Lexington. Did she try to encourage you to try that?
No, I wanted no part in the banana eating. I was going to let her take the cake on that one. We didn't bring any bananas onto the out-of-pocket set, Dave.
Well, how about that show, though? Take me through that. What do you guys, break it down for us, those that haven't seen it, what are you guys going to do for that hour?
It's so much fun. We talk about the last weekend in football, players that we felt like, you know, made a really big impact on the field, and then we spend time at each campus and with each team, so we're just giving our take on these guys. We interview coaches, we interview players. It's like you're sitting with us in the living room talking football. It's a lot of fun.
All right, well, if you have special guests, Deuce and I are certainly available.
Absolutely.
That football was available. It's picked off by Roger McCreary. Down the sideline, touchdown Auburn. Maybe you'll talk to him in this week's edition of your show. 36 yards on the pick 6.
McCreary comes up with the interception. You catch Alabama State. We've talked about them running the screens, and this time he's in press man coverage. Well, if you're going to run that, you've got to be able to get him off as far as you can't let him sit on the route, and that's exactly what he was able to do. And so you have a receiver that is trying to get him off. The receiver that it's intended to, he never comes back to the football. And so McCreary, he runs that, basically that screen better than the receiver. He has one receiver that's trying to brush him off. He never gets to him, and now we have neutral zone infraction on the defense on this field goal extra point.
Offside, defense number 94 in the neutral zone with contact, half the distance to the goal.
Roger McCreary now with 5 career interceptions. The preseason All-SEC performer goes 36 yards on that interception return.
Coach Harsin had challenged that group, the defensive backs, to not give up so many yards, maybe on hitches and different things like that. And they come up in press man coverage, and he makes a play.
Carlson's point after is up and good. Coach Harsin likes that. His defense has been pretty solid today. Auburn touchdowns today, a blocked field goal, interception return, 2 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. Now all they're waiting for is the scoop and score.
A trifecta of ways of being able to get into the end zone. You're probably getting into that area now, depending on how that defense plays, where you may see some of those starters get pulled out.
There's Derek Mason, who we were talking before the game, and I said this during the spring football game. Of all the hires out there, and there are a lot of good ones in this league, the fact that Brian Harsin was able to go out and get Derek Mason to be his defensive coordinator might have been the steal of the century in terms of helping kind of get this thing going in the right direction.
I agree with you. I mean, just his experience in the SEC, having SEC experience as far as a head coach at Vanderbilt, thought it was a really good hire for Bryan Harsin as well.
He's got some players, got some toys over there, right?
He's got a few toys to play with over there on the defensive side of the football.
No doubt. Another kick into the end zone, and the defense will have to come back out. And so it looks like some starters still making their way back out. So we haven't quite pulled out the depth chart or the flip card just yet. Don't forget, we've got #1 Alabama coming up 4 o'clock Eastern time from the Capstone, and Missouri and Kentucky are nightcap, the opening conference game, coming up at 7:30 Eastern time.
They'll start to rotate some of those guys in there now. They've been doing it a little bit anyway, but they'll start to rotate them in there now.
On first down and 10. Another inside handoff to Jared Daniels, and it is clogged up, nowhere to go.
Even with rotating some of those younger players in there, maybe a few guys that don't get to play a lot, the goal doesn't change. They don't want to give up any points, and so, you know, you talked to some of the players earlier this week. That was one thing that they kind of harped on. They hated that they gave up 10 points kind of in that second half of last week's game, and right now they haven't given anything up, and they want to keep it that way.
Pressure comes from that side. They throw it there, and that's a first down grab. Out over the 35-yard line, a gain of 12. Deshaun Mays, the freshman tight end, got hit low. It looks like he's got some kind of lower leg injury to deal with now.
Yeah, that's an ankle that he's holding there. And Donovan Kaufman, we hadn't seen Auburn really use a lot of pressure. Donovan Kaufman, the safety comes off of the edge, and Nettles is able to read it there, and he's able to hit the tight end, kind of his hot route built in there. We kind of run like a screen a little bit for him to be able to get him the football, and never a good sign when your head coach comes over. And so Nettle reads it perfectly and just tackled low. He's a big kid, and so as he's tackled, he kind of got rolled up on in that tackle and that left ankle. That's what they're looking at. Hopefully it's nothing serious for him.
Good to see that young man pop up. .6'3", 230-pound youngster. Remember, these guys, you know, we keep forgetting that they didn't have much of an offseason now. They played in the spring. And a quick turnaround to get ready for this season.
That's tough on your body as well. So you talk about, yeah, we don't have spring practice. We're just going to have regular games. Hopefully he's okay. He was able to at least to walk off the field, limped off, but hopefully he's okay.
First and 10, number 37.
He did pick up the first down. A little less than 5.5 to go here in the third quarter. Pocket collapses, but Nettles trying to run for it, but he is met there at about the 38-yard line. Nice play by Wesley Steiner. Come up and make that play, the sophomore to Warner Robbins.
Steiner does a good job of just being able to read the quarterback's eyes, and he's just looking. He's not necessarily the spot guy, but because he's in zone and he's able to make that tackle on Nettles once Nettles takes the ball down and takes off running.
Steiner played 9 games last year, came out as a 4-star linebacker. ESPN had him as the number 4 ranked outside linebacker in the country. Sharp with that reception. The third down and about 6 yards coming up for the Hornets.
Looked like Auburn was offsides again, but the ref doesn't throw it, so he hit it perfect timing. And it's also, you know, almost like another little screen just to be able to get your playmaker in space away from the play side. Third and manageable. We've seen him use screen plays. We've seen him use pick passes, speed out.
That one's dropped right in the hands of Terrence Ellis and can't hang on. And now it's 4th down and 6. They'll stop the clock with 3:52 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
So 2 times Auburn used pressure as far as on that drive, and that time they dropped 8 defenders, only rushed 3 guys, dropped 8 defenders into coverage, and it looked like Alabama State had quick game going, and so he was just trying to hit his tight end in the flat right there, and the tight end ends up dropping it. It probably would have been tough without him breaking a few tackles to pick up a 1st down anyway.
Jackson Billings back to return this. Actually, Devin Geis back there to return the punt.
Blocking the back. Blocking the back against Auburn right there on the sideline.
Well, this is a part of the game where if you're
during the return, blocking the back, 85 receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
If you're Coach Ely, you're starting to think about the future too, right? You got to start protecting your guys. Long season ahead. And speaking of the season ahead, this is what the top 10 looks like right now. Ohio State, by the way, in a world of hurt against Oregon. They trail by a couple of touchdowns. We'll see Alabama right here on this network coming up against Mercer. I think Alabama probably going to play with a little fire after Coach Saban went after him. And how will Georgia's offense be? JT Daniels still a question mark at quarterback. Banged up last week, and indications are he may not go today at 3:30 Eastern time. Speaking of quarterbacks, TJ Finley gets some work. He'll hand it off to Hunter. Breaks a couple of tackles. Hunter loses his shoe, and he'll get it out to midfield. He'll pick up 24 yards.
Dave, if he doesn't lose that shoe, he may still be running. And he has broken tackle after tackle after tackle. He runs so hard. And he starts inside and is able to wind it back, bend it back. Just a nice run by the young freshman.
How many times did you lose your shoe running football?
Tried not to too many times and started taping it.
Yeah, that's right. Going up top, Finley's pass is caught around the 10-yard line. Reception made there by Malcolm Johnson. 49 yards.
Outstanding throw here by Finley, just giving his receiver, Malcolm Johnson, a chance to catch it. And it's just one-on-one with Martin, number 25 from Alabama State. And that's just, you know, a player making a play. It's a go route. He doesn't give him a double move or anything. And it's just an athlete on athlete, and Martin cannot stop him. And you're not going to stop Johnson from getting into the end zone. So nice drive there. Quick drive, but nice drive there by Finley and the Auburn Tigers for the touchdown on the deep bomb, the go route.
Finley came in last week. Went after his up and good, but Finley last week just 2 of 5, 22 yards. Didn't look real sharp, but coaches were telling us that he really pushed Bo Nix. And not that Bo was going to lose that job, but he certainly made it a competition and made Bo kind of push himself in their fall workouts. And they give a lot of credit to the way Bo Nix came out last week to TJ Finley and what he brought transferring from LSU.
Yeah, and so Finley has experience of playing in the SEC. You go back and look, I think it was here in Auburn where he made his first start on the road for LSU. So he's experienced and has starts in the SEC, that being Finley. And so for him to have that type of skins on the wall, it's no surprise that, I don't want to say necessarily he was pushing him for his job, but from a competition and experience standpoint, it probably helped Bo Nix to have someone like that in the room for you.
Started 5 games at LSU, went 2 and 3 in those starts, did TJ Finley. Gets South Carolina through for 265 yards. That was his first career start, most by a true freshman in LSU history in their first career start. And now he is working some here in the second half. And they might want to get him some snaps the rest of the way. Just, you never know, right? You just never know. The big fella, 6'7", 250.
That's a big QB.
forget, next week for this Auburn team is a trip to Penn State. This was week 1, and it was a defensive battle to say the least, but Penn State on the road able to find a way to win this one and set up what should be an important game. Obviously, Auburn sneaks into the top 25 this past week after that win by Akron, but James Franklin, the former Vanderbilt head coach, got the Nittany Lions a win 16-10 in a Big Ten opener. And you see Clifford, 18 of 33, 247, no picks. But the defense was the story for Penn State. They put the clamps on that Badger offense. Crowley comes in at quarterback. So, Deuce, as we kind of, look ahead, spin this forward a little bit. In a roundabout way, yeah, this hasn't been the best, especially the first half. Not the cleanest, most effective, efficient first half for Coach Bryan Harsin, but this could turn out to be a positive as you move ahead, right?
It definitely will, and it will be one where he sells them on not really reading the press clippings. Guys, you see that we have to work. We still have to do exactly what we need to do week in and week out, or at least day in and day out at practice.
Flag comes in. I think Auburn might have been in that neutral zone on the snap.
They've blitzed a lot more here this third quarter than they did at all really with that first unit, and we know that they're rotating some guys in, but they have blitzed a lot more this third quarter than in the first half.
Offside. Defense number 13 in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Ladarius Tennyson getting some work today. Ladarius did not play against Akron. He's kind of a nickel. I say he is the fastest guy in that room of safeties, and they were hoping to get him in today's game, and obviously not the start he wanted with an offsides violation, neutral zone infraction. Shoulder fake, nice tight spiral, but that one will be incomplete.
Tried to run a double move with the slot, and they did a good job, and that was Tennyson that was able to kind of bump him out of bounds, but that's where that shoulder fake to maybe get him to come up and bite on it. We know Nettles is out of the game. They've got Miles Crawley. Miles Crawley came in earlier, ran a couple plays, saw him run a quarterback power and then run a zone, and also ran a little Q9 play, sprint out type situation, and that time they tried to hit the slot, the nickel corner on a double move, and does a good job in covering it.
Auburn has put up 366 yards of offense. Alabama State at 163. And they may be at 162 after losing a yard there. It'll be fourth down, and
same play that they tried to run down there on the goal line earlier with Crawley, and he's not able to go pick it up, and it looks like they're going to go. Well, here comes the punt team. Yes, the punt team is going to come out, be able to come out there and go for it. I think it's at least 8 tackle for losses for that Auburn defense.
Had 11 of those last week. 11 negative plays they forced against Akron and held Akron to -3 yards rushing. Today they've held this Alabama State team to just 31 yards on the ground.
Delay a game. Alabama State slow running guys out on the field. Had a couple guys that you didn't know if they were going to.
Game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Didn't know if they were actually going to punt it or maybe go for it there until you had late guys running out on the field late. And we know from a punt situation they've already had one block and pretty good returns, at least 2 times. The punter is, if he hadn't kicked it out of bounds, it's been not a lot of hang time. Looks like Auburn's coming after him again.
Grace will kick it away. It's a good kick, his best one of the day. Geis will let it bounce, and it continues to take an Alabama State roll all the way down to the 6-yard line. A booming kick.
So everything I told you, it was the opposite of it. Yeah. It was a return, and then it was an outstanding kick.
67 yards for Grace on that punt. Well, it is time to represent Auburn by showing us how big you're going tonight. Submit your best fan video to #ShowYourSaturday, and you might just get your 15 seconds of fame. Good crowd today. You know, this is one of those games, early kick. You know, you've got an FCS opponent coming to town, but I was impressed by particularly the student section was filled up today for the first half. Maybe they came to watch some football, and the Alabama State Band, who entertained us for a little bit at halftime, along with the Auburn marching band. Big hole. Jarquez Hunter. It is a foot race, and there is nobody in the stadium that will catch the true freshman. 94 yards.
Wow. You're looking at a young man that was projected to play linebacker. Most schools wanted him at linebacker, and I think that he has shown you, or is showing you, that he's a running back. He is a pure running back, and he runs angry, and he finds, he's just stretching that zone play. He gets right behind the center and the guard, and he is gone.
Hunter now with 147 yards on the ground on 8 carries, and the 35 points here in the third quarter is a Auburn record for points in the third quarter. The previous high was against Arkansas in 2018. It was 28 points, and Hunter part of that historical third quarter. Let's go down to Andrea.
We have seen some big plays from Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter. Guys, offensive coordinator Mike Bobo said there was a healthy competition all off season and that the running back room was the most productive room in camp. Coach Bobo said he's big on not over-coaching the running backs because they're so talented and explosive, and we just saw it.
Well, Hunter, 9 carries, 110 yards last week. The former Mississippi Mr. Football rushed for 1,687 yards and 20 touchdowns as a senior. His 93 touchdowns broke Marcus Dupree, the legendary Marcus Dupree's school record for touchdowns at Neshoba Central in Philadelphia, Mississippi. And coaches were talking to us about just, you know, as Dre was just talking about this hard work, but he's a power lifter. I mean, he's got that kind of strength in his body. He's got to be something to watch moving forward.
As he continues to develop and, you know, just learn more of college football, he is going to be a special player.
Not to mention he finished 6th in the state of Mississippi in the high school state championships in the 100-meter dash. Ran an 11.01 time in high school. And a pretty good day for those two backs, Bigsby and Hunter.
Yeah, both of those guys going over 100 yards. You talk about, look at that average. I mean, and obviously you have anything over 90 yards. That's going to help. That's going to help your average when you talk about yards per carry. But that's outstanding. Neither of those guys get over 15 carries as far as rushing carries are concerned. But that's great production.
303 yards on the ground for the Tigers today. Joe Owens now in at quarterback. He'll hand it off. And now Alabama State would like a couple of first downs to just start chewing up this clock. And, you know, we talked about Coach Ely in our discussions about just trying to keep his team healthy. They've got some big ball games coming up. Now, you don't want this game to beat you twice.
Yeah, that should be the last play. You know, just talking about what Coach Ely told us, he is going to try to use this clock. You don't want this one game to beat you twice and 3 times. And we'll tell you the next story when we come back for the fourth quarter.
That is the end of the third quarter, and Auburn leading at 55-0. It has been the third quarter, an impressive show to say the least for the Auburn Tigers. After a sluggish first half, the third quarter not so much.
Welcome to
SEC Network football presented by Allstate. We start the fourth quarter in a 55-0 Auburn lead. Alabama State second down. Loose football, and that one is picked up in the backfield by Dante Norris. We have got some big games in week 2. One of them involves an SEC team. NC State, Mississippi State coming up 7 o'clock Eastern time. Boy, the Bulldogs had to rally to beat Louisiana Tech last weekend in their opener. A school record come from behind meeting. Last time these two teams met was in a Belt Bowl. It was happened to be Dak Prescott's last game as the Mississippi State quarterback. And then tonight, it should be a good one. Utah and BYU over on ESPN. Joe Owens out to the 30-yard line. LaMelo Height making that tackle.
Yeah, this is a 4th down play. And one of the things we were talking about before we had to go to break before the quarter was Coach Ely talking about not letting this game beat you twice. And basically, he commented to us that when they played Auburn 3 years ago in 2018, they lost 6 guys. They lost 6 guys for the year.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that he didn't want to happen this game. He wanted his players to enjoy this game, and now you have an Auburn Tiger that's down right now. He wanted his players to enjoy this game, but he couldn't let this game beat them twice as far as on the scoreboard and then hurting them as they prepared for their conference season.
Yeah, well, they get a week off, and then it's Bethune-Cookman. And then they get Florida A&M, another team that left the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference and joined the SWAC. The Rattlers, they will face them in Tallahassee. Happens to be the same day that Florida State's playing a home game, so there'll be a busy day in Tallahassee on October 2nd.
You want to get caught in that traffic?
No, sir. And then they get Jackson State now. They get Deion Sanders a few weeks later, middle of October.
Team they beat earlier this spring.
Grace will punt it away. Bobbled there by Geis. They'll blow the whistle, and well, that play dead at the 38-yard line. We'll step aside. Double nickels on the board for the Tigers.
You know that fresh meat.
Peter Burns back in the studio. A little update. Down 14-0 early, but GA turned QB1. Zeb Nolan finds the carry on Joyner. 14-14 tie ball game between the directional Carolinas. Tennessee just scored a touchdown to pull within 7 against Pitt going into the 4th.
Thanks. See if South Carolina can convert and complete that comeback. Handoff off the left side. Sean Jackson on that carry, his first carry this afternoon. Boy, Auburn had a huge third quarter. They put up 299 yards of offense in that third quarter alone. And as we enter the 4th, they're up over 460.
Yeah, you're talking about back-to-back weeks where they have over 300 yards rushing as well.
TJ Finley stays in at quarterback. We'll hand it off again to Sean Jackson.
Jackson is the heavier of the 3 backs.
236.
Right. Yeah, right now Auburn 303, and that's probably, not updated completely there. Looks like if they'll keep this pace, they're going to finish around 360, 370 rushing yards, and last week he had 316. So you talk about yards per carry, that's outstanding for that group, not only the running backs but for the linemen and tight ends as well.
Looked like a hole was there for a brief moment in time, but it closed in a hurry with Jeffrey Scott making the tackle for the Hornets.
Alabama State still using pressure, bringing a corner cat off of the play side, or at least the short side of the field. Corner blitz, and Auburn running away from it. Sean Jackson got to get his shoulders down as far as running the football. And he's only 5'9", so he's running, standing straight up running.
I'll run it again with Sean Jackson.
Jackson, the ball carrier.
Well, no Sean Shivers today, so Jarquez Hunter was the number 2 tailback, got the number 2 carries, and he took full advantage of that, and he has already entered the Auburn history books as far as football goes. The longest touchdown run in Auburn Tiger football history happened just moments ago. He surpassed Ralph O'Gwen back in 1936, had a 92-yard scamper, and that held up here until 2021. Wow. Finley hit as he throws. Pass is caught there by Canyon.
Just outside zone by Hunter, and he's able to hit it. He's patient, and the hole opens up right behind that left guard and center. He's able to take it in. And like we talked about, that pressure with Alabama State, that time they get a hit on Finley on that one-on-one throw to the receiver.
Johnson goes in motion, but they'll hand it off again. Cut back there by Jackson. Takes a couple of white jerseys with him. Another big collision at the line of scrimmage. Boy, he is a big boy. 5'9", 236.
Well, a couple plays ago, I commented about him getting the shoulder pads down. He got his shoulder pads down that time, and so we heard the collision up here. For him to be able to just drive that defender back, and you make contact probably about 1 or 2 yards at the line of scrimmage as far as gain, and you still end up with 5 or 6 yards there.
Ingram now in at tailback, wearing number 24. He'll get to carry here down to the 15-yard line. That'll be good enough for a first down.
First down.
Opportunity now for this Auburn team to chew up some of this clock and get out of here.
Healthy. That's what you want. You want to get out of here healthy. So you're letting some of the younger guys play. I know they've rotated a few players as well on that offensive line. We know that Bo Nix has been out for a few series, and you'll see none of the other starting running backs, or at least Hunter and Bigsby. You want to get out healthy.
Ingram, stiff arm, and he is knocked out of bounds. Down around the 11-yard line. Looked like good stiff arm, huh?
Nothing at all. I mean, you definitely like it, particularly when it's effective. So this time he's able to bounce it, a little penetration inside, and he uses that stiff arm on a linebacker, and he's still able to get it 4 or 5 yards out of that play. Cadillac Williams, the running back coach, has done a really nice job with those guys.
Jackson back in the game. Well, that's got to be a tough room right there, right? When your coach is Cadillac and you know what he accomplished, and that's kind of what the standard is, that'll put some pressure on you.
Well, it definitely puts some pressure on you, but also you know that he can challenge you and get the best out of you as far as a player is concerned, because you're talking about a young man that has done it. He's done it on the highest of level, not only in college but in the NFL. And so if he is telling me, that I'm going to be probably more keen to listening to him than maybe somebody that hadn't played that position or doesn't have the accolades that he has had.
Well, he had a bunch of accolades, that is for sure. Boy, Jackson still driving, keeping those feet moving. That'll be another first down. It'll be 1st and goal just inside. Actually, was there a turnover there? Yeah. Alabama State saying they have the football.
Alabama State is saying they have the football, and they've been pointing that way the whole time. I haven't gotten an indication from any referee to say that is the case.
The ruling on the field is the ball carrier down for a first down. First down, Auburn.
So the Alabama State players are saying that it was a turnover, and so they're still fighting in this particular situation. And Coach Ely's going to call timeout to have them to look at it. He's saying that ball was out. Now, unless they're just saying that his momentum was stopped, I don't know if he's got a good case, but Coach Ely is definitely got to call timeout to say, hey, look, that football was out.
Well, while they take another look at that, we will step aside for a moment.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate.
Boy, it's a nice afternoon here in Auburn, Alabama. Maybe not so nice for Alabama State. It's being blanked 55-0, but gorgeous day for some football. Temperatures in low 80s. Sun has been out. There's just a little hint of fall in the air. Nothing wrong with that.
I think the referees did take a look at that, that replay, and it did clearly show that the running back was down. Sean Jackson was down before the ball came out.
So Auburn will have it first and goal. Jackson still in at tailback. Straight handoff left side, met at the line and dropped there, maybe a yard on the play.
They are physical in that running back room. They run physical.
Sean Jackson now 8 carries. I think they all been on this drive, or last 2 drives for sure.
He's tied for the second most as far as carries are concerned.
Yeah.
Tank Bigsby only has 11 carries overall. Let's see if Philly throws the football this time. They've been primarily running it.
Couple tight ends in the game. They will run it again. And that time somebody missed a block as Sean Jackson got stood up a couple of yards in the backfield.
Nice job of penetration inside. Janiyah Brown does a nice job. Number 95 does a nice job of penetration.
Auburn up to 346 yards on the ground. They've rushed for 310 more yards than Alabama State. Here's a little option pitch. And Jackson will get it in the end zone. He did all the work this drive. You got to let him cap it off with a touchdown run.
Nice block there by Tyler Fromm on the edge, and that's just an optional situation. Alabama State looked like they had some trouble lining up there. We haven't seen Auburn use this play as far as the option is concerned, and it pays off for Sean Jackson as he's able to get in the end zone. Talked about that. I guess that was his 10th carry overall. Most of his work he had gotten on this drive and the last drive, and pays off for him with the touchdown run.
Point after, up and good from Ben Patton, who comes into the game, the sophomore out of Rochester, Michigan. Big drive for Mr. Jackson. But Bryce Young not banged up. I would say that was a Heisman-worthy performance. At least he's taken over the top spot in many people's eyes for that award.
Can you say that you're surprised about Bryce Young in that performance?
No.
A lot of people were surprised, I guess, last year when you look at it, that he was the backup in that situation. I mean, but Coach Saban felt so comfortable, you know, going with the upperclassman who eventually ended up winning the Heisman anyway, and wins the starting job for the New England Patriots.
See what Auburn getting the right personnel in here. It's late in the game, 5:44 to play in this one. Miles Crawley back in at quarterback. Alabama State's used 3 quarterbacks today. Ryan Nettles, of course, their regular starter. Nettles 19 of 27, 130 yards, 1 pick.
False start, offense, number 83, 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, I like Nettles as a quarterback. Obviously, this is a tough place to come play, and certainly you're outmanned. But I thought Nettles showed you some stuff. I mean, I think he's going to end up having a really good year for Coach Ely and company.
Well, if I'm Coach Ely, I don't look at the necessarily overall score. I look at certain situations in this football game and show my team that you can compete. You know, and you go back and you try to fix some of the things that you kind of didn't do so well right there. They didn't block off the edge and get your running back hit in the backfield. But I show my team that, hey, look, guys, we can compete, you know, particularly on the level that we play in. And even on the big stage, I mean, this game, at one point, you have to remember, it was 6-0. You know, it was 6-0, and so they were in the game. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't have the overall athletes that Auburn has. And then every part of special teams, whether that you talk about the field goal mechanics, you talk about the return game. As far as that is concerned, they didn't do a great job of executing, and so I think there's some good points that they can take away from this ball game.
Auburn put up 35 points in the third quarter. That is a school record for points in the third quarter. That was after a 6-point first quarter.
Yeah, I mean at half it's 20-0. So you give up a pick six, you give up a field goal block, you have a punt block. It's hard to win in any game when that type of negative things happen for you. But I mean, Auburn did what they had to do. And so here they have a 3rd and long, and I don't know if Alabama State, that looks like they're going to get a playoff late, may have to burn a timeout at worst.
And play clock down to, they'll take that timeout. Auburn's 42 second half points ties the record for points in the second half by an Auburn team. They did that in 1985 against Florida State. That was painful. I was actually here as a student who watched that debacle. From my perspective, Bo Jackson put on a show that day, I might add. We'll take a timeout. Back in a moment.
Welcome to Allstate, where we have all new lower auto rates and saving.
Coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern time, our football lineup rolls on as #1 Alabama will be hosting Mercer from Tuscaloosa. Austin Peay and Ole Miss go at 7:30 Eastern time. Missouri and Kentucky, that'll be on the alternate, but you can catch Missouri and Kentucky at 7:30 Eastern time in the first conference game of the year. The lid lifter, as we like to say, and then McNeese and LSU, that will be on SEC Network Plus, ESPN Plus as well. Just go to the app. Your one stop for all your sports needs. Boy, a big collision there as the 6'4", 215-pound Miles Crawley runs right into by Darius Knight.
I know he's a freshman, and he will learn quickly. Those are not the guys that you want to try to run over, particularly not 3 or 4 of them. One-on-one maybe with a quarterback, yes, you'll take that opportunity, but 3 or 4 of them at the same time, no sir.
I think Brian Harsin and Coach Ely on the other side for Alabama State just like to get this one to the barn.
Good to see the long snapper come back into the game. We know he got banged up earlier for Alabama State.
Yeah, Luke Barnes.
Delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So Alabama State is trying to work as much clock as they can. Got to at least snap it when that play clock gets close to 0 though.
Guys fields it but kicks it out of bounds.
Second time that he's had a kind of muff punt.
Take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance. And for that, we will turn to Demetrius Robertson, who's had some kind of day. Welcome to the Plains. The Georgia transfer with 3 touchdowns today, 2 receiving, 1 rushing. Remember, he had 3 touchdowns total in his Georgia career. And this is his 36-yard scamper that capped off his scoring for the day. I would say that would qualify as a rewarding performance. Brought to you by Capital One.
That is definitely a pretty good day.
Grant Loy now comes in at quarterback, trying to put a bow on this one with 3:14 to go. And there is a loose football on the ground. First play is not a good one.
I think Auburn does recover it though. They do. So just right there on that handoff, I don't think the running back ever got it clean, and probably no telling how much these two guys have worked together as well. Jay Sharp in at running back for him. You will limit your opportunities, though, I can tell you, if you're putting it on the ground.
There goes Jen Sharp. Spot him at the 46-yard line. Another missed tackle. That's 10 of those by Alabama State defensively today. Just can't have that moving forward. A bunch of extra yards piled up today by Auburn. 62-0. How about 60 points last week? You put 62 on the board today. Pretty good back-to-back point total. And it really, think about the first half, wasn't even that clean for Auburn offensively. There's Sharp with a first down.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then you talk about going north of 300 yards in both of those games. And, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Obviously, the competition will rise drastically next week as you go up to Penn State and play against the Nittany Lions. And so I'm interested to see how this team kind of reacts. You've had 2 pretty good weeks. Now you get your first game on the road against a very, very good opponent. Crowd noise will be a factor. You can't have some of the mistakes that you had today in that game against the Nittany Lions, though.
Auburn's 122 points in back-to-back games, is just tied for 4th in most points scored in the first 2 games of a season. 1932, they rang up 138 combined points in the first 2 games. It's the 3rd time Auburn has scored 60 points in the first 2 games. They did it in 32 and again in 1922. We're going back in time now.
Yeah, you talked about the 93-yarder, 92-yarder that had stood since 1936.
Yeah. Records are falling. There 30 seconds to go. So the Auburn Tigers, you mentioned it, they're moving forward. Penn State up next, and it'll be a different monster. You're on the road. And if you're Brian Harsin, your message to your team, Deuce, would be what at the end of this game?
We'll enjoy it, guys, but a lot of work to do. We didn't get too many guys banged up and hurt, but we know the intensity has to increase, and we know the attention to detail has to increase as well. But you never are upset with a victory because they're hard to come by.
Yep, and this time they do get the shutout. They missed it last week, late in the game. Bo Nix, his numbers not as good as last week, just 9 of 17, 108, a couple of touchdowns. The story was the run game. Hunter and Bixby combined, just those 2, for 269 yards on the ground. Hunter averaged 18 per carry, Bixby 11 per carry. And Auburn wins it 62-0, the final score. Robertson with those 3 touchdowns. A big, big game for him. Maybe a breakout game. And they're looking for somebody to be a breakout type guy at wide receiver. And maybe they found it in number 0.
Well, he definitely has the talent to be able to do it. Like I said, it's basically been consistency, being consistent out there at receiver. And then injuries have kind of limited him. But the ability is definitely there. You talked a little bit about what he was able to do at Cal and basically at Georgia. Just maybe not putting it together as enough, but Demetrius Robertson is a talented receiver, and so we'll see if he can carry over what he was able to do today. And then obviously Cedric Jackson they like as well as far as the receiver is concerned, but lean on those running backs as much as you can.
Ryan Harsin. Hug from the family on this win. Anxious to hear what he'll have to say about this. I mean, it's certainly a 62-0 win. Hard to argue about that, but certainly not real pleased with the way the first half went on his comments heading into the locker room with Andrea Carter. Said they really needed to clean it up some things, hold on to the football, and just kind of block the guy in front of you. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple as far as that is concerned, and you didn't really see a lot of drops in that second half. Maybe missed a play or 2 as far as catching the football, but you saw them just go up top. Not a lot of double moves as far as the moves are concerned. We're just saying, hey, look, we're going to run by you. I'm going to run by you. My receiver is better than a defender that's covering him, and that's really what you saw them be able to do, and whether that was Bo Nix or TJ Finley in at quarterback. And we know that they have something special in the young running back, the freshman running back, Jarquez Hunter. He is a special player. And to be able to mix him and Tank Bigsby in as well. And we're not going to forget about Shivers. You know, we still think that there's enough touches for him as well. But they have some special guys in that backfield.
Let's go down to Andrea.
Coach, we talked about getting offensive momentum going into halftime, and you put up 299 yards of offense in the third quarter. What was the difference?
Well, I think we executed better than the first half. I just think we needed to get some things figured out. I really do think Alabama State did a good job in the first half. We had to make adjustments, and the coaching staff did that. The players did that, so we were able to get some big plays in the second half. And I thought our guys made plays on the outside, so that created some explosion. And then we ran the ball effectively there at the end of the game. So the O-line, we got into a little bit of a rhythm. But the defense was playing well. They were getting us great field position. Special teams came out, made plays again. We got a turnover. So those are all big keys for the second half.
And you mentioned big plays. Jarquez Hunter set an Auburn record with his 94-yard run. How do you describe his ability to run the football?
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to get caught when he got out there. He can roll. He's a great young player. He's very focused. So it was good to see him, be in the game and to make plays like he did the week before, and then to have the open run like that and finish it. He's going to keep getting better. That's the thing. This is his second game in college. I think he's got a great head on his shoulders, so we'll keep working on helping him get better, and I think he's going to stay focused and be a good player for us this year.
Now, your offense, defense, and special teams put points on the board. What aspect of the game were you the most pleased with?
Really all those phases. When you score on defense, you're able to score on special teams. Those are huge. You're obviously supposed to score on offense. So it was good to see the defense put points on there. And then our special teams, we made a big deal out of that going into this game of just trying to do really, make something happen on special teams and try to do some really big things in that area. And we were able to. So I'm proud of our staff, proud of our players. I appreciate how they responded coming out in the second half. And they wanted to play better. They did that. So, at the end of the game, you can look at the scoreboard and say, all right, we did some things really well. We got too many penalties. We need to clean that up, so we got to be a little more disciplined. But overall, they finished the game like we wanted to, and I'm proud of them for that.
And Bigsby and Hunter had big games, but we weren't able to see Shivers out on the field today. Is there an update on his status for next week?
Hopefully we'll get him back soon. He wasn't available today, so but he's been doing a great job, and he's a great person, so hopefully we can get him back soon.
Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you. War Eagle.
War Eagle was the call today, 62-0, our final score. Auburn goes to 2-0 on the year. Up next, Penn State for this Auburn Tiger football team. So for Deuce McAllister, Andrea Carter, the rest of our exceptional SEC Network crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from the loveliest village on the plains. The Tigers win it big. Time to get you to SEC Now. Peter Burns.
Thank you, Dave.